All right, I'm live. And I'm ready with my edamame, my Waterloo. Good to go. Okay. So much to get into in this stream. First of all, we have a major update on Ridgeland Farms, which we're going to dive into here in just a moment. And then, as the title suggests, the other thing we're going to talk about is Zoe, who could have a verdict as soon as now. I mean, I'm going to have to keep checking my phone because the jury is deliberating in Zoe's case, and that can be a short process. It can take weeks. You never know. So we'll just see what happens. But it's very possible that news could break while I'm streaming here. Hopefully that Zoe was acquitted. So we'll see. We'll see. Longtime viewers of my channel will notice I usually wear my Defend hat. Today I've swapped it out for my Dane for Dogs beanie because we got a massive win. A massive win. Shout out to Dane for Dogs for all the great work. So now the work isn't done yet regarding Ridgeland Farms, but the update is still positive. So let's dive into it here. Okay, let me go ahead and share. Shout out also Brian Paulson from Fox 6 News Milwaukee, who stayed on this story like a champ. Did the work. Really did the work. All right. So here's the big news. Ridgeland, Wisconsin dog breeder to give up license, avoid criminal charges. All right. So we're going to dive into some of the details. What's up, Alicia? Nice to see you. First of all, let's watch this. Give this a viewing. Our old friend Brian. Brian, you did it again. Brian's awesome. Just it's you know, I have to say, the TV media in Dane County were pretty damn good. I mean, Fox 6 here really led the way, but there were a bunch of channels that kept on it. So shout out to the Wisconsin media. Not bad, not bad, considering what we usually get.
Breeder of Beagles.
All right.
America's second largest breeder of Beagles for scientific research will surrender its Wisconsin's breeding license. Ridgeland Farms agreed to stop selling Beagles by next summer to avoid facing criminal charges of animal cruelty.
Fox 6 investigator Brian Paulson has been following this story for the past 8 months. He has the huge deal just announced.
Ridgeland Farms has been in the business of breeding and selling beagles for scientific research since 1966. That ends next year.
I think if you would have told us a year ago or a year and a half ago when we first brought the petition that this would be the outcome, that Ridgeland Farms would be closing down the breeding side of their business, I think we would have taken that in a minute. We would have been very happy with that.
Rebecca Robinson is president of Dane for Dogs, the animal rights group that petitioned the court to appoint a special prosecutor. In January, a Dane County judge put La Crosse County DA Tim Grinke in charge of the investigation.
The law is pretty clear. There's nothing I can do to stop animal testing.
Grinke says the strongest evidence of a crime was related to so-called cherry eye surgeries performed by non-veterinarians at Ridgeland without anesthesia. But over the past 8 months, he says, the charging decision morphed into a negotiation.
I can't shut down a business. I can't revoke a license. I can only charge a crime. I arrived at the realization that if they were agreeing to shut down their business, that's more than I can get out of a criminal prosecution. And so that seemed like the fair way to go.
On Tuesday, Ridgeland signed a 2-page agreement promising to surrender its breeding license by July 1st, 2026. Until then, they will continue to sell as many of the remaining 3,000 Beagles they have to their existing customers.
As they sell their dog.
Not good. Don't like that part. By the way, I have a statement pulled up that's pretty good about this.
Beagles they have. Till then, they will continue to sell as many of the remaining
So, I mean, how it should have gone is that all these dogs should be seized and homed. So, while this is ultimately good news, why are these 3,000 Beagles that remain just going to be left in the hands of these guys who have, let's just face it, have wormed their way out of a criminal prosecution? It seems a little feckless to me. Again, while this is good news, and this is ultimately a win for the future dogs, and hopefully these dogs, yeah. I mean, I'm not buying it, this whole, like, there's really nothing we could do, and we're going to dig into that.
3,000 Beagles they have to their existing customers.
As they sell their dogs, if there's anything left, the dogs will be surrendered and rehomed or adopted.
This decision
If there's anything left, it's just like they didn't get it. They didn't get it the whole time. Anyway.
today is a huge step in the right direction.
Robinson says it's a first step, and they have no plans to give up on the dogs still stuck inside Ridgeland's cages.
We're not done. This isn't over. This is just one piece. This is just one aspect in a much larger campaign.
Come next summer, Ridgeland Farms will still have a USDA research license that would allow them to breed Beagle puppies for their own internal research. They just couldn't sell them. Meanwhile, the special prosecutor laid out an 8-page report that explains his investigation and his ultimate decision. You can read that at fox6now.com. In the newsroom, Brian Polson, Fox 6 Investigators.
Ridgeland Farms says the agreement will result in operational changes, but it has no plans to close up shop altogether. In a statement, the company writes, Ridgeland Farms will continue to play a central role in the development and testing of veterinary medical treatment.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, this place is cooked, but you can see how they're going down.
Ridgeland also says it has no plan to let groups that oppose animal research obtain Ridgeland dogs. You can read the full statement.
Did you just hear that? Did you hear that?
Oppose animal treatments. Ridgeland also says it has no plan to let groups that oppose animal research obtain Ridgeland dogs. You can read
just fucking ghouls. Just absolute fucking ghouls. Fucking demons. That's what they are. Fucking demons.
Full statement.
All right. Thank you so much, Fox 6. You guys rock. Fucking demons. All right. There's that story. What's up, Jeffrey? What's up, Jake? I know I'm doing a live. I hate to take people away from my interview, but you'll finish it, right? You'll finish it. I know. Put out that interview today regarding the Beagles with Fiaz about Born on Death Row, this upcoming documentary that's still being made. Maybe we'll dig a little into that because I don't want to take too much away. There's just so much to talk about. We have a good problem right now, don't we? That there's so much happening. I'm like kind of overwhelmed, and it's in a good way. In a good way. I see my phone's blowing up. Yeah, it could be the verdict. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Not yet. Not yet. All right. All right, so let me take you guys to this statement right here, because I thought this is an interesting kind of measured response. So this is from Animal Wellness Action. Let's take a look at this. Press release, Animal Wellness Action Center for a Humane Economy. By the way, before we get into that, I just want to, I have to say, you know, Dane for Dogs, the Marty Project, just huge shout out to those groups working tirelessly for the dogs. Rebecca Robinson, Amy Van Artsen, everybody that spoke at that meeting with the commissioners. And I know that was just like the tip of the iceberg of the massive amount of work that they've put into this. Lawrence, I mean, it's just Rise for Animals deserves a shout out. And of course, my buddy Wayne Chung and his co-defendants at the time who were charged, Paul Picklesheimer and Eva Hamer, who were charged with rescuing beagles from that horrendous place. Yeah, I mean, a ton of people helped out, but Wayne, man, my dude, you did it. You did it, Wayne. I know the work's not done, but damn, sir. All right, let's take a look at this, though. All right, Beagle Breeding Factory Farm to surrender breeding license. 8-month reprieve for Ridgeland Farms assures more suffering for dogs. Blue Mounds, Wisconsin. Animal Wellness Action, the Center for a Humane Economy, PETA, the Beagle Freedom Project, and Rise for Animals today cautiously celebrated the announcement in the form of a settlement agreement that Ridgeland Farms will relinquish its license to breed and sell beagles for experimentation. The organization expressed extreme dissatisfaction, however, with terms of the agreement allowing the company to continue breeding and selling dogs for the next 8 months. Ridgeland Farms, with more than 3,000 beagles in its confinement facility, is the second largest beagle breeding facility in the nation, supplying dogs for invasive, outdated experiments. And the other one is Marshall, which is, you know, larger, much larger in upstate New York. So I finally got the updated number on Marshall. I believe it's 18,000 beagles at Marshall in upstate New York. And then you have MBR Acres in the UK, which has that constant presence of the Camp Beagle protesters. And I believe they have 2,000 beagles there. And they're kind of, when Ridgeland stops doing this and gets shut down, hopefully completely, they'll be all that's left, basically. So we're on the cusp, right, of seeing at least the dogs rescued from animal testing. Obviously, that leaves all the other animals. All right, let me catch up with the chat. I believe the deal for the which charges are you talking about? If you're talking about charges for Ridgeland, this settlement is to avoid charges, criminal charges for them. If you mean the Beagle rescuers, Eva, Paul, and Wayne, no. Those charges were dropped the day that we were all gathered there to argue personhood for animals. They dropped charges. They dropped charges, in my opinion, because there was a huge amount of attention from the animal rights community focused on it. And there was media very interested in the story, big media. And there was a judge there who, I mean, you can never really read a judge completely, but we were pretty pleased with the judge that we had. He seemed like a smart guy, like a fair guy. He looked like he was going to take it very seriously. And that sort of was borne out, looked to me, when on the morning that the charges were dropped, well, we all still had to go in there And in fact, Wayne argued and the other defendants argued for the charges not to be dropped. They wanted to take this to trial. Dane County district attorney, assistant district attorney was in the building, had her head in her hands like this for the entire hearing, looked completely embarrassed to be there as Wayne gave a very impassioned speech for the Beagles. It was one of the most powerful moments that I've witnessed from Wayne and in general. And I've seen some powerful moments from Wayne. But the judge was paying attention very intently. He was very, very, very on it. So anyway, that's that. So, okay. Former employees, state veterinarians, and multiple agencies have documented ongoing illegal surgical procedures at Ridgeland Farms dating back to 2017. In January 2025, Dane County Circuit Court Judge Rhonda Lanford determined there was overwhelming evidence of criminal animal cruelty and appointed a special prosecutor to examine the fact pattern. Subsequent inspections confirmed animal abuse went unabated despite orders to remedy the mistreatment. In September 2025, the Wisconsin Veterinary Examining Board suspended the license of Ridgeland's lead veterinarian. Now Ridgeland has agreed to surrender its license for beagle breeding, but the inordinately long phase-out will keep dogs in jeopardy for the next 8 months. The deal, announced by the special prosecutor investigating Ridgeland for felony animal cruelty, effectively permits the facility to operate through July 1st, 2026, prolonging the suffering of hundreds of dogs despite overwhelming evidence of systemic abuse. This settlement mercifully starts the unwinding of the second largest beagle breeding confinement operation in the nation, president of the Center for a Humane Economy and Animal Wellness Action said. This is one more important step in our nation turning away from inhumane animal tests that are less reliable and more costly than 21st century models grounded on human biology. But beagles will continue to suffer through mid-2026, even though authorities recognize that the legal owners of these animals have been delinquent and reckless in their care of these trusting, vulnerable beagles. The settlement points us in the right direction, but it has a disappointing feature in treating the beagles as inventory rather than dogs in need of rescue. That's a great point, Wayne. That is a great, great point. That's not Wayne Shunk, by the way, Wayne Pacell. Yeah, they're looking at these dogs like they're inventory, not living beings. It's really gross, really, really gross. And check this out. In 2022, federal authorities seized approximately 4,000 beagles from Envigo's facility after it was found guilty of violating the Animal Welfare Act. Envigo's corporate parent later pleaded guilty to criminal charges and paid a $35 million penalty. Advocates say Ridgeland's record mirrors Envigo's and warrants the same decisive action. Right? They came down hard on Envigo, right? The handling of a different beagle breeding lab, the former Envigo facility in Virginia, provides a model for action, said Tamara Drake, Director of Research and Regulatory Policy for the Center for a Humane Economy. Working with the Beagle Freedom Project and local organizations, the Center for a Humane Economy is prepared to help adopt out all of these beagles to loving homes immediately. Ridgeland Farms should not be rewarded by being given 8 months more to profit off the suffering of animals. We stand at the ready as the world's leading organization in placing dogs who have been the subject of this unique cruelty to rehabilitate and place these dogs where they belong in loving homes who understand their PTSD, which they all have, said Shannon Keith, animal rights attorney and founder of Beagle Freedom Project. Shannon Keith. Ridgeland's decision to stop selling dogs for experimentation is a victory that took relentless pressure from animal lovers who refused to stay silent, but it doesn't end the cruelty, said Ed Butler, executive director at Rise for Animals. We will not stop until Ridgeland and the entire industry that treats living, feeling beings as disposable tools is gone for good. It's progress, and that's good, but we want victory for these beagles, said Kathy Guillermo, senior vice president of laboratory investigations for PETA. It's time to take all the dogs out of the wire-floored cages where they're forced to stand in their own waste, unloved and neglected, and place each one in a real home. Last week, Animal Wellness Action and the Center for a Humane Economy urged La Crosse County District Attorney Tim Greinke, the special prosecutor, to proceed with felony charges and seize the dogs. Ridgeland's decision leaves just one large commercial breeder of beagles for experimentation in the United States, the gargantuan Beagle Gulag, Marshall Bioresources in upstate New York. The organization said that the era of breeding dogs for toxicology testing must come to a rapid end as modern human-based research models render animal testing obsolete and unethical. Animal Wellness Action, the Center for a Humane Economy, PETA, the Beagle Freedom Project, and Rise for Animals will continue to press for immediate rescue and placement of all dogs currently at Ridgeland Farms, and for federal agencies to permanently prohibit funding or contracts with any facility under criminal or animal welfare investigation. I thought that was a good statement that they put out. So here's the link to that. But I don't want to diminish either what a massive win this is. And this adds to a string of wins across the movement over the past few months that is mind-blowing. To recap, Vogue magazine, Condé Nast, has stopped promoting fur across all of its publications. Omni Hotels has dropped foie gras. Boston Fashion Week has dropped foie gras. There have been 2 major liberations of animals in the Midwest. We could get, hopefully today, maybe, in the coming days, hopefully an acquittal for Zoe Rosenberg. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But this is just this is stunning. The amount of wins that grassroots activists are getting, one after the next. I'm probably forgetting like 30 billion things that happen. It's been hard to keep track of, like I said. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's been quite a few days. Quite a few days. All right. So, let's see. So that's the update on Ridgeland. That pretty much covers it. Let's shift over to Zoe now, as we could get a verdict in Zoe's trial any moment. I mean, it could come now, it could come in days, it could come in weeks. We really don't know. Just depends on how long the jury deliberates. So here we have Direct Action Everywhere's page. Let's watch both of these here.
The prosecution and the defense have both rested. We are kicking off week 7 of trial. I think we are finally nearing the end. This morning, the prosecution is forcing my friend Paul to show up in court because they want them to testify against me. Last week, Paul tried to refuse to testify by pleading the Fifth, and the prosecutors offered them immunity to make them testify anyway. So today we're having a hearing outside of the jury, and we'll see what happens. The judge just ruled that Paul will not be forced to testify against me. The prosecutors are very, very upset. There were originally 4 people who they were trying to force to testify against me, and they failed on every single one of them. So it's looking like none of my friends will be testifying on the prosecution's behalf.
Trying to pressure activists to testify against Zoe, man. And you can find stories about where this has happened in the past, where they put pressure on people and people start turning on each other. Wrong people to try. DXC folks are tight, man. They're friends, man. They are not gonna, they ain't gonna play that.
Prosecution is about to call their first and possibly only rebuttal witness with the aim of making the jury question whether or not chickens are really scalded alive at Purdue's Petaluma Poultry Slaughterhouse. This afternoon, the prosecution called Allison Howlett, a manager at the slaughterhouse. She testified to Petaluma Poultry's use of red denaturant, which is a dye to mark certain chicken bodies as unfit for human consumption. The purpose of her testimony was because the prosecutors want the jury to believe that the chickens in the condemnation pile are bright red because of dye, not because they were scalded alive. We have evidence that raises doubts as to whether they really are consistently using this red dye, and we also have many other reasons to believe that chickens are being scalded alive there. Howlett also testified that condemned chickens are sent to a rendering plant to be used for things like dog food, which means that sick, diseased chickens from this facility are being fed to other animals.
Gross.
After Howlett finished testifying, the prosecution rested and so did the defense, which means we are officially done with evidence in this case, and we will present closing arguments to the jury tomorrow, and then they will begin their deliberation.
Okay, so that was, I believe, yesterday. Okay. So that was yesterday. All right, where's my backup here? And here's the other one here.
Closing arguments are complete and the jury will begin deliberations. I just arrived to court for what will be the final full day of trial. Today we will be presenting closing arguments to the jury and then they will begin their deliberations. The prosecution spent their closing arguments making a whole lot of assumptions but presenting very little actual evidence, and you can't convict someone based on assumptions. They also spent a lot of time trying to blame us for not presenting certain pieces of evidence, but they literally spent the first 2 weeks of this trial trying to keep animal cruelty evidence out. The prosecution misstated a lot of facts in their closing, just really trying to confuse the jury, and they said that this is not about prosecuting and criminalizing compassion, which clearly it is because I am quite literally being prosecuted for rescuing chickens from this slaughterhouse. They tried to say that my reporting of animal cruelty was insufficient, clearly trying to cover up the embarrassment that was their response to my animal cruelty reports. During our closing arguments, my attorney talked about what my intent was when I entered the slaughterhouse, that my intent was to help animals, not to break the law, not to commit a crime. He talked about how for Purdue, birds being scalded alive, birds being left to suffer with wounds and injuries is just a cost of doing business. But to me, and more importantly to those birds, it really matters. He told the jury that if there is even a sliver of reasonable doubt as to whether or not I had criminal intent, the jury has to find me not guilty, at least on counts 1 and 2, count 1 being the felony. Tomorrow morning, the jury is going to return to court to appoint a foreperson and begin their deliberations. At some point in the coming hours or days, we will have a verdict and we will know if I am going to be a convicted felon and if I face the risk of serving half a decade in jail.
Let's just say this right quick. Every time we get to the end of one of these things, as has been the case with Wayne Shung or Zoe or any of these recent cases, I just feel so much pride and gratitude. I feel so proud of people like Zoe and Wayne because win or lose, they have represented the animals so beautifully, so well, spoken so passionately with conviction and kindness and compassion. It's almost overwhelming. You know, it's emotional. Like I have, it takes a lot to choke me up, and I get a little. I feel a little misty-eyed right now, watching Zoe go through this trial with her health issues and questions lingering before this even began as to whether or not she would even be able to go through with it because of the health issues. And her, you know, defiance to push through that and say, no, I want these chickens to have their day in court. And she, oh man, we have some of the best people in our movement. And it's so, man, like, I don't even like, it's like, I don't even know what to say. Like, we're so lucky. We are so lucky to have people like Zoe. And like I said, it's a win already. Win or lose, you've already won, Zoe. You already won. And she knows this. She knows this. But I just hope that we all give her the love, because regardless of the outcome, like she has done it. She has stood up, so yeah. And I mean, I think even just little messages of support, just thanking Zoe would be really appropriate right now, because not only she's representing the animals so well, she's representing the movement so well, she's representing us so well. And I remember the first trial that I witnessed was Wayne on trial for rescuing goats. And I was so moved by how he spoke. And this was when I first got to meet all these guys. And I was just like, Wayne's up there in front of a judge and a jury, speaking the words that I would speak, but doing it better. He's a great speaker, but I felt like he was giving a voice to me in front of this judge, and Zoe's doing the same thing. The fucking best of us. Don't even know what to say. Sorry, let me check the chat. Yep, Felix. Very inspirational, Soy Tan Man. Nice to see you, by the way. Speaking of inspirational, you were super inspirational too, being out there at that slaughterhouse the other day. So yeah, bunch of great people in this chat, even, for real, Felix, for real. So yeah, Zoe's a badass. I can't even believe what a badass Zoe is. She started an animal sanctuary at 11 years old. When I was 11, I don't even know what I was doing at 11. I think I was playing with Ninja Turtles when I was 11 years old. I mean, I had like my Ninja Turtle toys. Maybe I was starting to get into basketball and football and stuff by then. All right, sounds good, Soy Tan Man. See, man, people like in my chat, they're like, they tune in for a bit and then they like, I've got this meeting for activism, like I've always said like my audience is fucking awesome. Like, I may not have a very big channel, but the people who are here, I'll take that. I'll take that over the 1 million subs. You hear that? You guys are worth more than 1 million subs. Even though we're getting very close on this channel to 1 million, right, Soy Tan Man? Soy Tan Man. Go sub to him. All right. Let's check out the last Jane Unchained stream that there is. Now, this is a long one, but we can kind of get some more of the details from this, hopefully.
It's the day we've all been waiting for. Day 25 of this extraordinary, historic trial, and finally closing arguments.
I'm sorry. Someone asked, I'm not sure. Someone asked about, will we know today? Because they don't do trial on Wednesdays. And I think it's possible. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But I think if they have a verdict, they'll call people in. even though it's Wednesday. But again, don't quote me. I don't know. Sonoma court system's kind of weird. Not going to lie. It's hard to figure out. It's like a bureaucratic labyrinth you have to wind your way through.
The chicken rescue trial of
maybe
Zoe
maybe they'll
Rosenberg
answer
are
that here.
set to begin any minute now. This is history in the making, and everybody who is here is part of it. This woman, 23 years old, went in and rescued 4 chickens from a slaughterhouse, and she could do, as a result of this action that you are looking at right now, she could do half a decade behind bars. And today is the day that everybody has been waiting for after so many months. This happened in June of 2023. And this trial is now in its 7th week over 4 chickens whose value is, even if they were healthy, which the defense says they were not, $20-some. How many millions have gone into prosecuting this woman? We may never know. But the clock is ticking. And right now, any second, closing arguments are going to begin. We have a team of experts. We're going to go straight out to Madhu Anderson, who is outside court. She is ready to bring us the very latest. Madhu, what's happening?
So, Jane, the court started today at 11 o'clock, and 11 to 12, the judge had given us given the jury instructions. It took like an hour, almost 55 minutes for the judge to give the instructions to jury. And now we have the closing arguments, which is starting at 1:15. And you're very right. We have been waiting for this day. The defense supporters of Joey, they are lining up right now behind me and the court, going towards the courthouse. They have been waiting here for so many months, as you said, and it's definitely a very big day. So we are waiting. So the prosecution and the defense attorneys are going to present their arguments, their closing statements for an hour each. So we are starting at 1:15 today. So by 3:15, they will be done with closing statements from both the parties, and then the jury will go in and start discussing the evidence and the arguments which were presented during the trial, and then they'll start deliberating. So,
wow. So we've got 1:15 closing arguments.
So this is a little slightly dated because this is before. We're now in the jury deliberation process. And just so you know, it's just like kind of, I'm sure like everybody's feeling super anxious right now and hopeful and maybe nervous and scared. I'm not sure, but there's probably just, a lot of camaraderie as they await this verdict. In Wayne's Sonoma trial, they deliberated for so long. I can't remember how much. I believe it was 6 business days, so it lasted a couple weeks. And it was a very long process. And there was a lot of us just being at Pete's, which was right near the courthouse, eating those plant-based sandwiches. I feel like I ate 1,000 Pete's plant-based sandwiches during that trial. And certainly during jury deliberation, we kind of just hung out there because you had to be sort of on call in case the jury had a question. You had limited amount of time to get in there and negotiate with the prosecutors and the judge for how their question will be responded to. And by the way, that's a pretty critical part of the process too. Another part of the process that can be slanted in the favor of one party or the other, depending on how the judge rules. And so in the case of the Wayne case, the jury asked a lot of questions. It was like daily that we had to rush in there. And we very seldom got a ruling that was favorable on how to answer those questions. And in my opinion, the way that those questions were answered was confusing and probably led the jury to have more questions than answers. And that was pretty critical. And that's something that happens with only the judge and the prosecutor and the defendants present. And I was, I guess you would say, lucky enough to be a witness to that as Wayne's paralegal at the time, and got to see a lot of how that goes on. And it is, I mean, there are so many things that happen during a trial that are critical. And I honestly believe more happens that are critical to a trial happens while the jury's not there than when the jury is there. It's like everything's decided away from them. And it's up to them to kind of navigate this. And they don't even, I don't even think they know it's happening. They sort of understand that it's happening, but yeah, I mean, they would get answers to questions that would not be how we would answer the question, for instance. So yeah, anyway, that's what's going on right now, I'm sure. Or, you know, or there are a bunch of awesome people who were like, you know what? Zoe rescued some chickens. She doesn't deserve to be in prison. Maybe they'll just be like, you guys, you all agree, right? Yeah, we're not convicting someone who rescued animals. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Start, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justine, it's the prosecution first, then the defense, and then doesn't the prosecution get to come back and say something at the very end? And we're going to come to you right now. Yes, it's prosecution first, then the defense, and then does the prosecution get to come back and have a final word?
I'm not sure.
Well, Tamara, you should just continue your fight regardless, right, of what other people do, because a lot of people rush to declare victory and that sort of thing. Happens a lot. But I've seen a lot of cautious celebration, and I think that's appropriate. The dogs are still in that place, though.
I know that they both get a chance at closing arguments. I don't think that the prosecution comes back. I think that that's more in terms of the timing for testimony.
You know, it's funny you say that, Tamara, because a buddy of mine just the other day said, we were having a meal and they said, how did they phrase it? If I was the opposition or something like that, I would try to declare victory. Like, you know what I mean? Like what I mean is, like, if I was the fur industry, I'd want like PETA or whoever to say, oh, the fur campaign is won, so that everybody stops. Yeah. So, yeah, their sentiment was similar to yours.
The opportunity to rebut, right. but the closing arguments are a whole nother phase. So it's good this is moving along now.
It really is. So they've already gotten their jury instructions. 1:15, we have it starting. So that's like literally in.
I think it would be funny if like Unchained TV just keeps growing to where, you know, like we've got 8 heads. It'd be funny if it was just like one of those massive Zoom calls where you have to scroll through to see everybody. That's what we should do. Everybody get on Unchained. Everybody.
In 10 minutes, 1 hour for the prosecution, 1 hour for the defense. So by 3:15, the jury should get their case, and they could come back today. So guess what, people? Everybody who's been following this trial for so long, we are staying live till the end of court today. We are live till the end of court today because this is a monumental day. And I'll just tell you a little behind the scenes. If we were to go off the air and then all of a sudden a verdict's coming in, well, how easy would it be for me to get all of these people who are, it's like herding cats. Is that speciesist to say? Very hard to get them together. Then it would be very hard to get them back in. So we decided, let's just stay on. Let's stay on today. As the jury deliberates, we will be here on Verdict Watch. I know you have to go in any second, Madhu, so I just want to get a sense of the feelings, the energy.
Chris Hines, what's up? Nice to see you. Remember when I was talking about earlier, like, I have the best audience? I don't have the biggest channel, but I got the best audience. I'll put it up against any channel on the planet when it comes to the people who show up in my chat. We got Chris Hines in the building. It's an honor.
What is it like there? Did you see Zoe go in? What did she look like? Did she look nervous? Did she look confident?
Yes, I did see Zoe coming in, and I saw Zoe walk.
Any moment, Chris, this could happen right now, like literally now. It could have happened, or it could happen, tomorrow, days from now, or weeks from now. Nobody knows. Maybe some of the people who are on the ground there have a sense of how long this could take based on their read of the jury, but they'd just be speculating. These things can take a long time. As I was explaining in earlier about the Wayne trial that I was more intimately part of, there was nearly 2 weeks, I would say, of jury deliberation. It took fucking ever. It took forever. And Pete's was the big beneficiary, Pete's Coffee, because they kept us in there with their plant-based sandwiches. By the way, Pete's, they had some good plant-based sandwiches. They were like Impossible. Anyway, the Impossible sausage with I think a Just Egg patty, and it was pretty solid. Pretty solid. I'm sure like after that trial wrapped up, that Pete's Coffee was like overstocked with plant-based sandwiches. They were like, what the fuck? We were selling like 30, 50 of these a day. Exactly, Chris. It should be a 2-second decision. Saving animals is not a crime and never will be. Yeah, and like I said earlier too, regardless of the outcome of this trial, I feel really proud of Zoe for how she conducted herself and how she spoke for the animals. Obviously, I didn't see all of it. I saw the social media stuff, but from the way people describe it, she was unflappable on the stand.
Walked out of the courthouse like when during the lunchtime, and she did look very confident to me. I can sense a little bit nervousness in her, but she's definitely a very confident person. She knows what she's doing.
And how many people are there to support her from Direct Action Everywhere going into the courthouse with you right now? I mean, just take a guess.
It's definitely 30, maybe 40 people, but more people are walking in as they're learning, because initially the court was supposed to start at 1:30, but it's starting at 1:15 now. So people are running a little bit late behind, but they are lining up and they are getting into the courthouse now.
And you are going to go in there and take notes. And then the second that the jury gets the verdict, you will run out and tell us, right?
Definitely, Jane. I will let you know as soon as I come out of the courthouse after the closing arguments, and I will keep you updated every second after that.
You better run fast,
and bring some
Madhu.
of your friends. We want to hear from some other people, maybe Cassie King. Very exciting day, and frankly, and I want to thank Madhu. She's really doing a great job, and she's never done this before. And I'd say, well done, Madhu. Next stop is what? CNN? Anyway, head into court.
Thank you, Jane. Okay.
Thank you
have a
so
good day.
much.
Bye.
We'll see you at about 3:15, 3:30. Very exciting. So, wow. This is really, really an exciting day. I want to play what Zoe Rosenberg had to say, and then we're going to go over the charges. Thank God we have our attorney, Justine, here, and she was the one who made a point. Put up the charges, Jane. So I'm going to flash those up really quick. Yeah, it's a lot, but we're going to break it down. First, we're going to hear what Zoe Rosenberg had to say about this monumental day yesterday. So this is what she said yesterday, because there were some very critical things that happened yesterday right before both sides rested.
Prosecution is forcing my friend Paul to show up in court because they want them to testify against me. Last week, Paul tried to refuse to testify by pleading the fifth, and the prosecutors offered them immunity to make them testify anyway. So today we're having a hearing outside of the jury, and we'll see what happens. The judge just ruled that Paul will not be forced to testify against me. The prosecutors are very, very upset. There were originally 4 people who they were trying to force to testify against me, and they failed on every single one of them. So it's looking like none of my friends will be testifying on the prosecution's behalf. The prosecution rested, and so did the defense, which means we are officially done with evidence in this case, and we will present closing arguments, and then they will begin their deliberations.
Woo! I want to go to Justine. So a conspiracy requires more than one person. That is the big charge, the conspiracy. The others, and I'll put up the charges here, the others are trespass. That's no big whoop. If she just got convicted of trespass, I mean, listen, her supporters hope she's not convicted of anything. But the one that really counts, the one that would do the most hard time, as they say, is the felony conspiracy. Now, you see that there were 4 friends of Zoe that they tried to get to testify against her, and it didn't work. And apparently, according to the Purdue rescue trial notes, the prosecutor was very mad and actually held his head, and the judge even commented, like, I made my ruling, essentially saying, calm down. Why is this so important? And then we'll go to our panel.
For real, Chris.
Well, the felony conspiracy.
Long history of that, I'm finding out. But like I said, they picked the wrong people to try to get to testify against Zoe, Paul, Almira. Yeah. Good luck with that. I don't even know who else they tried. I mean, it's laughable. It is, it's laughable. I don't even know what the hell they were thinking. I mean, I guess maybe they've seen like that there have been moments in the past where people just feel the pressure and they do that. But yeah. I'm glad we have such a strong core of people at this trial. Like, these are people who are brave, and doesn't mean they don't ever feel nervous, but that's just sort of like part of it. It's like what you sign up for in a way. It's like, I don't even understand, like, being vegan itself is standing out from the majority. So we're already taking a stand against a bigger force. So when you start out, there's already that little tiny smidge of nervousness, maybe even bigger for some people. So it's just what we signed up for.
Conspiracy is very serious charge that carries the most jail time. It's important for the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I keep meeting people, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I keep meeting people that will say things like, if they'll see like a vegan bumper sticker or something, they'll be like, oh, I wouldn't want my car to get messed. Like they're worrying that like putting a message on their vehicle would make them a target. Guys, like I lived in Alabama, Bama, and had gay rights shit on my car. It's fine. It's fine. I probably had like Obama stickers on my car at the time. I can't remember. But I damn sure had that Human Rights Campaign sticker. Yeah. I feel like, and speaking of like gay rights, I mean, I feel like one of the main reasons why gay marriage was won was because people were out and proud. And I feel like vegans, animal rights people, we got to be out and proud and not scared that somebody's going to scratch our car because we have a vegan bumper sticker. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everybody can do what they want, but let's not. We're not the scared ones. Remember this. We're not the scared ones. They're the scared ones. They're scared of a phone. They're scared of phones. Phones. They're scared of phones.
That Zoe conspired with one or more people to commit the crime of trespass. So I understand that there was a discussion on the jury instructions. Unfortunately, we don't have the jury instructions up to share yet, and it's a little challenging gathering information from the X feed, but I thought that one of the discussions from the attorneys regarding the jury instructions was to specify certain named co-conspirators. So we'll have to see in those jury instructions. It doesn't really matter. The point is that she is charged with conspiring with others to commit the crime, in this case, trespass. There are 2 trespass charges as well.
We'll get into that. But as far as the conspiracy, here's another, let's get a round robin. Then I have another clip, because it would seem that some of those 4 friends might have been alleged co-conspirators, because the co-conspirators have not been named. Is that last quick question, Justine, right?
Well, at the beginning of the trial, they weren't named. When the charges were read, it said that the identity is unknown as far as the co-conspirators, but...
Well said, Chris. That is some weak shit. That's weak shit. And I'm sure y'all have seen, right? Y'all have seen the video of when they arrested Zoe. It was so pathetic. It was so pathetic. So they arrested Zoe and 2 other people on the day of Wayne's sentencing. And they did it for this like big show of force. Oh man, it looked so fucking weak and wimpy. It was so pathetic. Yeah. I kind of wish, like, you have y'all seen videos of how I mean, I know it was a serious thing. It was like, you know, it was a sentencing, so people were there seriously, of course. But I thought those videos of those protesters in Portland standing up to the ICE fucking clowns was awesome. How they were all like dancing in like fucking like dinosaur outfits and shit. It was so funny. It was so funny. There's these serious dudes with wearing masks trying to be all tough. All these fucking ICE fucking losers. And then they're in Portland, and all the Portland protesters are there dancing around in costumes and shit. It's so funny. I think what I'm saying is I wish that they could have had that response, but everybody was there in their, you know, serious clothes, of course, because it was a serious and somber occasion. But that would have been hilarious, wouldn't it? That would have been pretty good. One thing I've always wondered, maybe you know more about this, these industries don't see animals as individuals and only see them as products. So could a defense be that the theft of the chickens, which were probably worth a few dollars each, would be the equivalent of shoplifting a crate of beer and nothing else? The only way around it is to actually recognize the chickens as individuals, and then the story changes drastically. And if they recognize them, then all animal welfare laws, etc., should instantly be applicable, and it gets thrown back on the farm. Charging Papers said the hens were worth $24, but if they had already been condemned, then they were worth a lot less, if anything. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, $24. And someone made this point. I can't remember who said this, where it was said, but someone made the point that they work in a grocery and that they're instructed that if someone robs the grocery for less than $40, they don't do anything because it's just not worth it for them. Yeah. So here Zoe is facing close to 5 years in prison for rescuing chickens who were worth to the company at most, as Tamara says, $24 at most. And the very much more likely scenario is that they were worth zero to the company. Nothing at all. Nothing at all, because these were diseased, sick chickens. Yeah, it's bullshit. It is bullshit, Chris. It is. Yep. Absolutely is. It's a joke. Absolute joke. And but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Every now and then there's this great jury that will acquit. So we've got about 2 hours of deliberation so far. Yeah. Put your message about Zoe back up there on the screen. I think that's a nice sentiment there.
Based on the X feed, there was discussion about the jury instructions. The prosecution asked for certain named conspirators, Raven, Carla, Picklesheimer, and Rocky. So that
oh yeah, I think maybe they tried to make Carla test. I could be wrong.
The names I heard in the jury instructions. So we have to see if they're actually named in the jury instructions, but I don't think it makes that much difference.
Well, but we're talking about the 4 friends that the prosecution wanted to get to testify against Zoe and that they did not succeed on any counts. Paige, you seem to be excited about commenting.
Well, I'm excited about this day because we're really on the edge of our seats about what's going to happen here. I mean, this is a precedent-setting, motion that's going to be all of it. It's just sitting on the edge here of the future of individuals having the truth be allowed for them to see what is really going on, because it's been hidden so much that many people don't realize that what they're purchasing is not what's going on. So to me, this is precedent setting. Back to you, Jane.
I agree with you 100%. This is a precedent setting.
I'm so used to having my cap on that I keep doing this. Because y'all see I traded it out today for my Dane for Dogs beanie in honor of Dane for Dogs and their great work. But yeah, I don't even know what to do. It's such a habit to be like that with my brim. It's like my little tick.
Case, we've reached the conclusion. For those who don't know, we've been live for 25 days now. And I've said this before, but I've changed plane trips. I've canceled doctor's appointments. My dogs are filing a class action suit against me. No, I still managed to walk my dogs, even this morning, a long way. But I mean, obviously we've disrupted our lives, but it's nothing compared to what Zoe Rosenberg herself faces 5 years behind bars. And you see that there was this 11th hour attempt to bring in what seems likely to be the 4 alleged co-conspirators to testify against her. And it didn't happen. Now, Raven, let me play how Zoe characterized Raven's testimony, because Raven basically, and Justine, feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an attorney, although sometimes people think I am because I was a crime reporter for so many years. But I believe that, Raven, when she took the stand, because she had gone into the slaughterhouse to do undercover video, she basically said, no, Don't look at Zoe. She's not the conspirator. I did it. Look at me. And because she's already made a plea deal, they can't come after her. So let's listen to that.
She told the jurors that she is
I mean, this is the kind of person that they're dealing with. And they think they can scare these people. Raven gets up there and says, it was, these people aren't scared. And if they're scared, they power through it.
testifying because she wants to share the truth about what really happened. She started to walk the jurors through her investigation, and we showed the jury footage of the slaughter line of birds flailing, and we showed them the photos of the bright cherry red birds who we believe had been scalded alive. She talked about how she personally rescued 2 birds on the morning of June 13th, and then she started to be cross-examined by the prosecutor, and then I will likely begin my testimony.
Of course, that was what she said a while ago. She's already done her testimony. Right now, the jury is getting seated at this very moment to hear closing arguments. They're going to get the case in about 2 hours. We're going to hear all about closing arguments at that point.
Oh, look.
Ellen.
Look, someone's here. Someone's triggered. Hey, guys, I've been waiting for this moment, okay? A good friend of mine, I just saw this book laying down outside where they live. And then they told me, oh yeah, I was just giving that away. Like I finished with it. Guys, look at this. I saw this and I was like, gotta have it. I'm taking it. You seeing this? Excuse me. Got a little edamame going. You seeing this? What's Hannah Troll going to do? She's got a house full of noisy trolls and baby is sleeping. Shh, be quiet, you silly Norfin trolls. How many trolls are too many? Count them. Fearless? Did you have a book written about you? Did you come here to troll and then you got mercilessly mocked by a book? Oh, you poor little boy. Oh, well. So, yeah, this book's going to be coming out. Let's read it. Let's read the book. I haven't read it yet. I was waiting for this moment. All right. Here's the moment. Let me take this off the screen so that y'all can come in close with me. Stop sharing that. Okay, now I'm big, right? Now I'm big. There you go. You gonna burn the books there, Fearless? That's for you. Yeah. Okay. That's you. That's you. Hannah was excited today. She was going to visit Aunt Inger and Uncle Hans. She couldn't wait to see their new baby. Their new baby, Fearless. Come in, Hannah, said Aunt Inger, but be very quiet. Baby is sleeping. Are you sleeping? Are you having a little nap time there, Fearless? Little nap time? Baby is sleeping. Shh, whispered Uncle Hans. Don't worry, said Hannah. Baby won't wake up. I'll be nice and quiet. And there's the photos. This is a picture book, okay? It's easy to read, even for someone like Fearless. I'd wager even Fearless could read this book. Hannah sat down to play a game with Uncle Hans, and Inger picked up a book and began to read. Everything was peaceful and quiet. There's the pictures. Y'all like story time with Jer? Maybe I'll make this a regular thing. Then suddenly, zoom! A golf ball came flying through the window. My goodness! Cried Aunt Inger. Ding dong, ding dong. The doorbell rang loudly. Oh my God, the action is picking up in this book. Hannah ran to open the front door. Who could it be? Who could it be? Do you know Fearless? Who is it? Oh, there was Mr. Parr from next door. Sorry about that wild shot, he apologized. May I come in and look for my golf ball? Okay, said Hannah, but shh, 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 Fearless. Baby is sleeping. Mr. Parr tiptoed in. You see, you could use a little, maybe tiptoe around. Mr. Parr tiptoed in, and everyone helped him look for the golf ball. But before they could find it, ding dong, the doorbell rang again. What the fuck? I already feel like it's too many trolls in this thing. Karate Kid and Roxy Step were at the door. Hi, they said. May we come in and watch your television? It's time for our favorite exercise program, and our TV is broken. Okay, said Hannah, but shh, 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 Fearless. Baby is sleeping, so shut the fuck up. That's what it said on the page. Hey, listen, that's what it said. Hannah turned on the TV and ding dong, 3 peppy cheerleaders bounced into the room. Cheerleaders? Hello, said cheerleader Buffy. May we ask Roxy a question? Okay, Hannah said, but shh, shut the fuck up, Fearless. Baby is sleeping. There's the photos. There's the photos. Shh, shh. Fearless, hush. No, Chris, only a few days now. I got it the other day. I've only done 1 stream. Didn't have a troll in that stream. But yes, this is a... I didn't know I was going to read the book. I was just going to show it. But I'm like, what? Why don't we just read this thing? Because, you know, that way Fearless can say he's got through a whole book. It's probably the first time in his life that he's gotten through a whole book, even though it was like for him an audio book. Like he didn't read it, you know, but we read it to him. So he can say that he's completed a book once we get through this thing. Soon the doorbell rang again. Ding dong, ding dong. This time, 4 little tykes were at the door. They looked at Hannah with big, sad eyes. We're lonely, they said. May we come in and play? Okay, Hannah said. But shh, 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 shh. Shut up! Baby is sleeping. That was for you, Fearless. Okay. Put your headphones on, Fearless. Before Hannah could close the door, ding dong, a family of farmers rang the bell. Oh no. Fucking farmers? That's definitely too many trolls. May we come in? Asked the 5 farmers. We saw all your friends and decided to share our fresh fruit. Okay, they're fruit farmers. We're good. We're good. Well, okay, Hannah said, but shh, since you're fruit farmers, we're going to treat them kindly. Shh, just be a little quiet. Be quiet. Baby is sleeping. There you go. There's the photos. Oh, man. The farmers went inside and ding dong, 6 clowns appeared at the door. This is getting out of control. This isn't like one of my streams. This is more like one of Mel and Steve's streams now. It's a little out of control with the trolls. Can we come in? We heard there was a party and we love parties. Well, all right, Hannah said. But shh, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Fearless. Shh. Shh. Baby is sleeping. And there's the pictures. There you can you read, Fearless? I want to make sure you can. I don't want you to feel left out. Like, can you read those words right there? Just want to make sure you can. You just want to help. Let's help Fearless out. Okay. Nah, I don't think he can read it. Let's just look. Just focus on the pictures, okay? Just focus on the pictures. We will help you. Okay. The house was getting a little crowded and very noisy. Really fucking too noisy. Before long, there was another ding dong, ding dong. But baby kept right on sleeping, even when 7 little playmates came to peek into his crib. There you go. Some nice pictures for you, Fearless. Don't mind those words. Don't mind that. Baby kept on sleeping when 8 joggers came in for a drink of water. My goodness. And when 9 baseball players came inside to rest. Jeez. Too many trolls. Too many trolls, guys. That's a lot. That's a lot. Then the doorbell rang again. Ding dong, ding dong. It was an airplane pilot. Whoa. May I use your phone? He asked. My plane just crashed. And I've got to call a taxi for these 10 passengers. Well, this took a dark turn. Airline pilot's plane crashed. I'm going to show you all the text, just so you don't think I'm making it up. My plane just crashed, and I've got to call a taxi for these 10 passengers. Well, all right, Hannah said, but shh, 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 shut up, Fearless. Baby is sleeping. All right, there. Just so y'all know, I didn't make it up. This is the text. Can you read it? I know you can't read it, Fearless, but my plane just, I'm not even kidding. How do they write these things? It's so crazy. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Hannah looked around the crowded house. She began counting. 60 Norfin trolls, she explained. There are too many trolls in this house, Hannah said. Everyone stopped and stared at Hannah. I'm sorry, she announced, but everybody has to leave. Baby needs peace and quiet. You hear that, Fearless? You hear that? The trolls left the house quickly, but they didn't leave quietly. Bye-bye, they yelled. Thanks, they called. See ya, others hollered. Baby kept right on sleeping. Finally, the house was completely quiet. Ah, peace at last, Hannah said. There you go. There you go. But baby said, goo 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 ga. Goo 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 ga. Is that what you said, Fearless? Goo 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 goo. Is that what you said, Fearless? Fearless, you just completed your first book ever. Congrats. Everybody put a W in the chat for Fearless, who has just listened to, we could call this audio book. W's in the chat. Fearless has completed his first book ever. Fearless, I feel that the future is bright for you. I feel the future is bright. Thank you for the entertainment, Fearless. You see that? Now, people have talked to you in a way that indicates that you're one of those people who has no life and finds their way onto someone's page all the time. So I'm going to do you a favor, Fearless. I'm going to do you a favor. Since you're retracting your own messages, I'm going to help you out. Goodbye. Finally. Look. Finally, the house was completely quiet. Ah, Peace at last. How does it feel, Fearless? Oh, where are you going to go next? See ya. All right. Well, that was fun. Oh, Fearless is banned, Chris. He's banned. Yeah. I like the peace and quiet. All right. Let's get back to Unchained. Which one is it, though? This one. Here we go. All right.
Dent.
I feel like we did him a favor, you know? It's important that he realizes that he's not welcome here, and that maybe now after he's finished his first book, maybe he'll pay a trip to the library and check out a book and try to sound it out. And I know it's going to be tough for him, but he can now say with confidence that he has finished a book, and he can start spelling out the words and working through his next book. But he won't need to do too many trolls because he's already read that one. All right. Congratulations, Fearless.
It seems like, you know, the conspiracy, I don't know. It might be a little wobbly at this moment.
Yeah, I'd be holding my head too if I was the prosecutor for this. You know, it sounds like their case is pretty much fallen apart.
Hey.
I hope.
Hey, Kane says he's lurking because his phone's at the other side of the room. Man, I know Kane, like, he tuned into the stream and then he saw that I was big on the screen. Like, I was sharing just my screen, which is bigger than even my interviews because that's only half the screen. So y'all have to see me up close. Kane took one look at that and threw his phone across the room. And I apologize. I apologize to you, Kane. I apologize to everyone, first of all. I apologize to everyone for that. But not to Fearless, because that was for Fearless.
That the jury sees this as well. You know, Raven has, you know, said that she's the one who did this, and, you know, that Zoe was not a co-conspirator. So hopefully they, you know, can follow that, you know, I guess admonition, that you know, confession of sorts, and realize, you know, that she did.
I just love how that book ended. Finally, the house was completely quiet. Ah. Peace at last, Hannah said. That was the moment she banned Fearless. But Fearless, not one to go quietly, said, not making it up, guys. That's what was written in the book, okay? Y'all don't believe me, but that's exactly how it went. It's exactly how it went. Okay, there's the proof. There's the proof. Too Many Trolls. Such a great book. I recommend it.
Did not, you know, conspire to commit a crime. She did not at any point think that she was committing a crime. She thought she was doing what was necessary to do to help these other animals that were on this truck and suffering. That she did look at each one as she took them off and assessed that they needed to be rescued. So I think that, you know, they're desperate at this point. I'm sitting on the edge of my chair already, pins and needles, you know, just hoping for the best for Zoe. I know that she's facing up to 5 years and possibly without the medical care and devices that she needs, and that the jury wasn't allowed to even know what her condition is and why she has a feeding tube coming out of her nose. Like, she has gastroparesis, which is, you know, partial paralyzation of her stomach, so she can't process food, and she also has type 1 diabetes, which probably caused that gastroparesis, and she needs to have medical care that she may not get if she is found guilty. So I'm really hoping for a not guilty charge. I hope that they are not able to make an example of this young woman, young brave woman.
Well, you mentioned something very, very interesting. Here's, again, anything we play of Zoe is going to be dated because it's from the past, but the basic concepts still apply.
I'm just setting up my tube feeds for the day. I'm expecting that the prosecution will pretty much spend the entire court session continuing to cross me. I think they'll keep me on the stand pretty much as long as they can. I'm just gonna get this set up in my backpack and then head to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription that hopefully is ready. I'm having a bad gastroparesis and autonomic neuropathy flare up, in part because of a high blood sugar, but also in part because I was having a really hard time getting a hold of a medication that I'm on, and I was off of it for almost a week, and I only just got it again this evening.
Now, she's had this illness her whole life, so this is nothing she developed, from poor eating habits or anything. This is something, she just unfortunately had this. Lindsay Baker, you've been following this case from the beginning.
She had this, but is become more severe. And part of the reason for that could possibly be stress from this trial. She has a lot riding on this trial. So, no, it's not like if you knew Zoe a year or two ago, she didn't have a feeding tube in her nose, that sort of thing.
It's pretty interesting that the jury never even got to learn why she has a tube in her nose.
Yeah, I think that's very telling of how far the prosecutor will go to hide as much what he considers evidence or positive information about Zoe. I feel that the full picture is being, thwarted on every single angle in every single way. And she may look calm. Everyone's saying, and I agree that she does look calm. But this sort of thing, stress is I'm not a doctor and I'm not making a diagnosis, but stress is a big factor in illnesses. I think everyone,
I don't see any typos there, Kane. No typos. So well done.
Agrees with that. So this must be incredibly hard for her, and thinking of going into prison and getting her medication, or she won't get it. It's just so much for one person to have to bear in a case like this, where it's a culture war of transparency versus, animal agriculture and what they can hide.
And here's a comment from Steve Rock and Roll Wood. If the jury is offered to be served chicken for lunch, then it should be considered biasing the jury. Now, let me just say this. It's a joke, but, there's a grain of truth in every joke. And ultimately, these jurors, 7 men and
18 minutes into this video. And I've been streaming for, let's take a look. Let's find out. For about an hour and a half.
5 women are going to be bringing their life history into this case. And also, this flyer, Stand With Sonoma County's Poultry Workers, was sent to thousands of people in the county before jury selection began. This is a heavily agricultural district. Michael Fujimori, you've been a juror many times. Is it possible to leave their biases out, or is
been a juror many times, huh? Bad luck, I guess. Of course, I would have loved to have been a jury on a case like this.
Everything in their life history, since this is a culture war between animals as products and animals as sentient beings,
First of all, I'd love to see the Captain Paul Watson Foundation represented on this show. That's pretty fucking great.
Culture war gonna erupt inside the jury room.
Yeah, I would say that human nature, biases will be there, but as far as when we are deliberating the guilt or innocence of in a case like this, we put all that aside, and the judge always instructs us to just go with the evidence, not what we have thought, not other factors like how we were raised or what was we learned when we were in school, whatever. It has to be just the evidence in the particular case. So I have a good feeling that the prosecution is going to have a hard time proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. There's plenty of doubt in the prosecution's case, and yeah, as far as your
Oh yeah, maybe it covers up their titles. Hang on. Let me do that. There.
question about biases, it has to be
You're looking.
or what is there, but
Were you looking for his title there, Michael Fujimori?
as far as when we are deliberating the guilt or innocence of in a case like this, we put all that aside, and the judge always instructs us to just go with the evidence, not what we have thought. Not other.
The cries from the trolls of should have thought about that before breaking the David, I got you covered. David, hit me up. Too many trolls.
Factors of how we were raised, or what was we learned when we were in school, whatever. It has to be just the evidence in the particular case. So I have a good feeling that the prosecution is going to have a hard time proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. There's plenty of doubt in the prosecution's case, and yeah, as far as your question about biases, I don't believe that'll be I've said on there, all people from all kinds of walks of life, different walks of life, and we've all put that aside to make the right decision.
All right, Paige, you wanted to say something? I'll unmute you, or you can unmute. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. It's so essential that everyone realizes that we are not the enemy. Anyone who's out there wanting to show the truth. And so I just keep nodding my head because
I got hit with a wasabi fire. Oh my God. It's like some of them are fine, and then every now and then you get one, it hits you with the wasabi.
Because I was in the sand, I didn't know. So
Let me let's diverge for just a second. So today on my channel I had the Born on Death Row documentary filmmakers, and let's take a little look at their channel. All right, here's Born on Death Row. Here's our collab. So that came out today. Please watch it when we're not live, I guess. And here's their channel. Here's a link to them. Let's check out some of these vids. So they went to LA and interviewed Moby. That's pretty damn cool. Let's check that out.
So going from that, what's going on in that lab technician's mind, what do you think goes on in the dog's mind?
Well, of course, they're experiencing pain, they're experiencing fear, but the overwhelming emotion is confusion. They don't, because how can they process this? Like, we are, as humans, we're outside the natural order, because nowhere in nature does that sort of brutality happen. Nature can be brutal, but it tends to be quick and brutal. You know, an animal kills another animal, it happens quite quickly. You rarely keep an animal alive for months or years and systematically torture them. We're the only species in 3.5 billion years who've done that. And so these animals who are connected to the natural order, they're just so existentially confused, you know, because there's no precedent for it, because in the natural world that doesn't happen. So an animal in a cage who's being tested on, they're terrified, they're sick, they're in pain, but more than anything, they're just confused. That question of, what did I do wrong? Like, why am I being punished for just existing?
My last question, you kind of answered it already, but it was about people seeking enlightenment and wanting to live in the moment and not want more than they need and not have regrets and worries about the future. Mm-hmm. And do you think animals might actually be enlightened?
It's a really great question, and it's one. So, and this might be relevant, it might not. It might sound like just the insane ramblings of someone who spends too much time by himself. But I have a theory about the human condition. Mm-hmm. And my theory, you could also say that there's sort of like different religious support for this idea, is that we are the only species separated from the divine. You know, think about it. We're kicked out of the Garden of Eden. We're the only ones who were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. I'm not Christian, but I'm just saying, as metaphor, as analogy, think of that. Like, we're separated from the divine. Whatever the divine might be, we're the only ones without that connection from the divine, with the divine. Yeah. Everything else, trees, birds, monkeys, lizards, everything else has an innate understanding of what it means to be connected to the divine. We're the ones who don't have that. We're the fallen angels. We're the ones separated from God. And everything we're doing is a form of destructive rebellion. And so I would say, yes, every being apart from humans is born into a state of grace and enlightenment. We are not. Yeah. And as a result, we kill each other, we torture each other, we have arbitrary concerns, we destroy the only home we have, we destroy ourselves. Like, our behavior is so profoundly irrational. To me, it is all this hybrid of spiritual, existential separation. You know, like, we are separated from the divine, and everything we do is a destructive result of that.
Okay, we're only we're kind of like months into starting this documentary process properly, and we've just done our big interview with Moby.
Nice.
How amazing is he? He's given us this interview without really knowing us from Adam. He spoke so eloquently, really inspiringly as well. He certainly knows his stuff. He's well read on the issue, and really encouraging. Gave us a great testimonial, which we're so chuffed with. I'm glad that's over, because I was really nervous. But we had a really good team here.
You did good.
You did good. We've done a good job. Looking forward to editing this out. So nice one. We'll update later. That's cool. Is that good now? Anything else specific to add, or we done?
No, that's great.
Nice one. Behind the scenes. Nice one, mate. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
All right. Can't wait to see what they come up with that. Let me link to that video there. So yeah, that interview with Fiaz is on my channel. Check it out. Check it out. And then there's his interview with Moby. All right, let's get back to where is it? Where'd it go? I think I closed it by accident. What a professional I am. What a professional I am. Well, you know what, guys? I feel like we've got the update, so we're just sort of waiting when it comes to the Zoe trial. So let's just wait. In the meantime, let's check out Vegan Gaze.
Zedwin. I think
Mhm.
Zedwin is here. I think you had a question, right?
Zedwin?
Hello, can I speak? Yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. More than a question, it's more of addressing the vegan community as a whole. I feel like, I'm not saying this for everyone, but I feel like sometimes it feels kind of gate.
Steven, how are you doing on this fine fall day?
Keep, you know, in a sense, that people that come here to discuss don't really have that choice to discuss, because they just come here and they just get berated by like pre-formulated questions or responses, and they don't really get to say what it's on their minds, you know.
Oh, okay. That's fine. So I will allow you to say what's on your mind when it comes to veganism. Are you a vegan or not?
No, not really. I just came here to see.
Not really. What is it with these weird answers?
What's up? But yeah.
Okay, so is that something that you believe is justified to not be vegan?
I don't think it's justifiable or not justifiable. I feel like
neutral.
I'm neutral about it. I mean, I don't care if someone is vegan, but I you know, I wouldn't impose it on people.
No, that's not the question, sorry. I'm not asking if you'd impose veganism on someone else. I'm asking if you think it, in your view, it's morally justified to say if you eat chickens to breed them into existence and purposefully take their life away so you can have them in your sandwich. Would you say that's justified?
I mean, it depends on who you ask the question to. If you ask that to a vegan, of course you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know what she's gonna say. Just to be clear, we're asking you. Elle's asking you. So doesn't matter what other people say. The question was directed at you.
Sorry, Zedwin. When I'm asking you specifically.
Yeah, I'm saying for me it is, because I do eat
So it's
meat.
That was a clear answer.
So you're. It's not that you're doing something hypocritically. It's that you're doing something and you fully believe it to align with your values.
Basically.
Okay, so just to double check, because obviously when I hear that, I get a bit concerned because I'm an animal too, right? So just to be clear, you wouldn't think it's justified in the case of, let's say, a dog instead of a chicken?
Depends on culture. Everything is based off
I'm
context.
asking, please, I'm asking you.
If you ask a Chinese person, they might say yes.
Well, that's just xenophobic. I'm asking you.
It is not xenophobic.
We're not gonna.
It depends
hang
on
on.
culture.
We're not gonna play this game, by the way. I'm asking you specifically for what you believe. Okay. So you did say
You're trying to corner me into a question.
No,
like,
if you feel cornered, then I think you know where this might be going.
Yeah.
So do you think it's justified?
This is a problem.
No.
This is
Yeah,
a
the
problem.
problem is
It's
people
like
can't answer
everything
questions.
goes.
Just to be clear.
No, the problem is.
Yeah, no. Do you
I'm
think
getting
it's
asked questions that
justified?
goes.
Do you think it's
Well, what
justified
is
to do the
this?
same thing to a dog?
But this is not a conversation then.
It's not a conversation,
instead
yeah,
of
if
having a
people don't
conversation,
answer
you're
the
leading
question.
me into a set of questions that are gonna give you an answer that you want to hear.
No,
just
to be clear,
give you the reason.
what I want to hear actually is, I'll go vegan today, but you won't say that. So I'm not going to hear what I want to hear. What I'd like to hear, sorry, Felix, do you want to go?
Just quickly, as a quick moderator of this VC, if you don't want to talk about veganism, you're free to leave.
Yeah.
That's all.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Okay.
It's just
Then we can
that
carry
doesn't
on.
have
We can
anything to
carry
do
on
with
with the
veganism.
we can carry on with the
But
conversation
it's
then.
not a conversation if you're just asking me one question after the other just to get me to say yes, you're right. That is
Well, I mean, it seems that he knows that this line of questioning will lead him to say, yes, you're right. So, avoidance, I guess that's one strategy. But
not a conversation.
But again, not again because I didn't say it, but why the fuck are you there? Why are you in this thing? Clearly there to debate veganism, so debate veganism.
Not getting you to say yes, you're right. I'm trying to stake out your values. You said to me that it is justified in your view to farm a chicken and kill them so you can have them in a sandwich. So I'm just trying to next find out if you think that's the same for like an animal like a dog. Is that true or no?
That's the thing. It depends on countries.
Yeah.
I'm
Look,
asking
for
you.
example,
Yeah, just you can answer. It's so easy to answer like, no, I wouldn't do that to a dog. I don't think it's justified. Or you can just say, yeah, I think it's justified. And then we can ask the next question and move along instead of this fucking avoidance game that you're playing. Oh man. Like, are you there or are you just trolling? It's too many trolls, guys. It's too many trolls. You're going to see a lot of this book, by the way.
There in France, for example, I'm living in France. People eat horse. You could ask some.
Sure. So are you saying that's justified? That's a simple question. It's asked without judgment. You can answer the question. Can't you stop being such a giant puss and answer the question?
Someone in the US, they might say, "Oh, that's horrible."
You came to this thing to debate, you fucking moron. Get off Discord if you're not doing it. What's the
That is insane.
It's annoying.
It depends where you live.
Why are you there? Did they seek you out? I kind of doubt it.
I'm asking you.
So maybe,
asking you. You complain that people don't like let people talk about their values and their beliefs. So now I'm asking you your beliefs. Do you think it's justified to farm a dog for a sandwich?
For me personally, not.
No,
because
okay.
where I live, there are pets and we treat them as such. But if for example, for me, the pet or the national pet was like a chicken, well, I wouldn't kill it the same way as in other countries.
I don't know if you cut off for other people, but I can't hear you.
Well,
can anyone hear me?
Wait, what?
I can't hear him either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you cut off.
No, I'm pushed to talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, just to be clear, what I gathered from that is if you had a chicken as a companion animal, you wouldn't want to kill and eat them, right?
Of course, because it would be I decided it's going to be my companion animal.
Okay. So just to check that consistency, obviously humans are animals too, but we can't have them as pets, right? So as humans aren't your companion animals.
Not non-consensually. Okay.
Do you think it's justified to farm them for a sandwich filler?
Again, that makes no sense. I mean,
I'll explain
what if anything?
Yeah, I'll explain it. So obviously humans are animals just like these animals. So you're saying
I never want to be on this the receiving end of L's disdain. I have to keep L in my good graces because there's a bite to it when she thinks you're stupid. I just never want to feel that. I feel like it would crush my soul. Just something about the way she talks that would just annihilate my self-confidence and make me go into a hole and cry. You know. Luckily, I agree with almost everything she says all the time.
Reason I won't farm a dog is because they're my pet. So I'm just trying to work out, a human can't be your pet, so, and they're an animal. So in your view, is it then justified to farm them for a sandwich villa? If not, there's something else at play that is making it the case that you think it's justified to send them to the slaughterhouse.
I mean, you cannot farm a human because it's against the law.
I'm not
It's
asking.
just
I'm asking if
literally,
it's
yeah.
morally justified. I think I'm asking a very specific question. To
It's such a predictable response. Like this, it's
find out your value.
Yeah, I see. I see we're going there again. Yeah, we're asking a specific question that
yeah,
needs a specific.
yeah. You're there to debate veganism, so she's asking you a specific question to answer about veganism. It's why you're there. Once again,
specific answer.
Yeah,
That is a yes. You're right.
Answer.
That's what you're looking for.
No. I want the answer of.
Yeah, she just wants the answer. Now, if you realize that the answer to her question is yes, you are right, then man up and say it.
Your value. Do you think it's wrong to farm humans? I'm not asking if you think it's legal. I'm asking if you think it's morally wrong.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Okay.
Morally speaking, yeah. If I'm a human, for me, morally, it is.
Okay, so then there's got to be some distinct.
That's a pretty amazing thing that she just did there. She actually got him to answer her question.
Morally significant difference between you, a dog, a chicken, that would justify killing the chicken for a sandwich villa. And I'm trying to work.
I just like for your typical dude who never thought about it, it's like too much for their brain. It's synapses right now just going haywire, and he's not going to keep up.
What it is, because it's unclear.
Well, me personally, I'm not gonna farm a human because I'm a human. But as the same as a lion might not pose itself the.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to farm a human because you are human. Okay, that's interesting. So, but you would farm an animal even though you're an animal. Same species. I mean, not species. What do they call them? Category? I don't know. Same. Whatever. Family. I know it goes like it's a layered thing. Whatever. Y'all know what I mean. Stop holding me to account for my words, chat. I haven't even looked. I don't even know if you guys are holding me to account, but I feel like you're thinking it. I feel like you're thinking, Jeremy, get it the fuck together. And I felt that. I felt judged just now.
Question: am I gonna eat this human or not? Even though we're animals, the same.
But it
like
can't
they're
be,
not gonna ask themselves this moral question.
Judging me. You know you are. Why don't I ever do these Discord debates? Well, I think they're handling it. I think they're handling it just fine.
It can't be that, though, because you're not a dog, but you wouldn't farm a dog for a sandwich. So there's got to be some sort of different thing there, like a trait or something, an attribute that's there that's saying, yeah, I can kill you. And I'm trying to work out what it is, because you're not a dog.
Hello?
Yeah, I see. I don't understand your question right now. What are you asking something?
Yeah, I'm asking, right? So you said,
why don't I do these debates?
To me, I wouldn't kill a human because I'm a human. Like I wouldn't do that.
Let me try to answer that. My pet peeve is stupidity. When people act stupid, I get pissed off. And I can't help it. That's just, I don't have patience for stupidity anymore. That ran out a long time ago.
And in the dog instance, you wouldn't kill a dog because they're a pet. So if an individual is neither a human, like, nor a pet, so say, for example, you have a dog, they're not your pet, they don't belong to anyone, they're a stray. Is it justified to kill them? If you say no, there's something else happening.
Stephen, don't make me do it. Why? Why are you doing this to me, Stephen? Thou shalt not torture. Okay, that's one of them. I added it. Okay. Y'all want me to do these things? You just want to see me yell at somebody and call them names. That's not going to be productive for anybody. It's not going to work. It's not going to be good. It's going to make everybody look bad. That's what's going to happen, okay? I'm just going to call him fucking stupid and then be done with it. So, yeah. But
what do you mean? Is it justified?
If y'all really want to see that,
by killing the dog, you're
yeah,
saying?
like the stray dog. Say if I wanted to then take them and then I farmed them and I put them in my sandwich.
Mhm.
Have I done anything wrong in your view?
I mean, still depends.
I don't want to say they're not productive. I'm not sure if I agree with you. I understand what you're saying, Dennis, but they are making content and they do expose how just completely lacking of any coherent argument the other side is. So in that sense, it is productive. And hopefully there are some smart people that join these things. So yeah.
Depends on what.
I mean,
content.
It is considered the dogs are companion animals, but
If
it
they're
depends on
not,
culture.
yeah.
You need context for anything.
I'm giving you the context. I'm saying they are a stray. They belong to no one. Nobody wants them. Have I done something wrong? If I farm them, they're not anyone's companion animal. I've decided they are a dog for meat, and I slaughter them for my sandwich filler. Have I done something wrong in your view?
Well, I believe it's against the law. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not asking if it's against the law. I'm asking.
Yeah. I did have an in-person debate. You might say, well, it was more like it was more like a cube setting type thing last night. And I was trying to talk to this guy who agreed that everything he was seeing on the screen was terrible and wrong, but insisted that he wanted to keep drinking milk like a fucking baby, like a fucking baby. And so I did. I talked to him for a while. It was pretty fucking annoying. Not going to lie. I tried. Eventually, what I ended up saying to this guy was, you don't need me to tell you to stop doing the wrong thing, do you? I was getting to the point, and I say, you're an adult. I'm an adult. You make your decisions. I make my decisions. You don't need me to tell you that what you're doing is wrong for you to not be a fucking baby. That was the point I was making. Now, did I go off on him? No, I didn't. I guess I can turn it on and off, but man, yeah, there's only so much. Yeah, you got that. It's on the screen right in front of you. Fucking bloodbath. So, yeah, anyway.
If you think it's wrong.
Take care, Dennis.
I mean, if you're doing, since you can get meat from other sources, you don't need to go out of your way to kill a stray dog.
That's not what's being asked of you, because you can get meat from. I've just had vegan ham sandwich, so
I bet you have had productive conversations, Stephen. I feel like you are, in particular, quite good at that. From what I've seen on your YouTube channel, you have a manner that's very good. It is direct, but it is direct and confronting, but not so confronting that they want to leave. I feel like you have a good touch.
got my meat from a plant-based
We all have our
source.
strengths.
So that doesn't
and our
actually get you out of it. So
I believe
I'm
this may
asking
be
you,
one of
would it be
my
wrong if I took
weaknesses, would be dealing with these people. I don't know. Maybe I'd be good at it, but I just, I do think sometimes it's good for people to hear that they're dumbasses sometimes. And that's the approach that I kind of take a little bit, one way or another. And for some people, it's good to hear that. I don't want to be a dumbass. Someone calls me a dumbass. I don't like it. I want to make sure I'm not a dumbass. So might be what I needed to hear.
stray dog, didn't belong to anyone, and I farmed them for flesh so I could have the sandwich, would it be justified in your view, or have I done something wrong?
To be honest, me personally, I wouldn't really care if it wasn't my dog or anything, but I'm saying, sure, if you want to,
Okay, so
go for it.
it would be justified in your view if I
Like,
wanted to.
not justified. I mean, you're breaking the law, and for me, it's like, well, you're breaking the law. You know what you're getting into.
I'm
If you
not
want to
asking
just go ahead
legality.
and kill a dog.
I'm asking
Well,
morality.
the thing is, legality is based off of morality. Every single law.
I think a good track to go down is the concept of consent. Consent. So is it okay? And here's something I said to the guy last night, which was, okay, say there's a beautiful woman walking down the street who I found attractive that I wanted to have sex with, right? Am I allowed to just go take her? No. Because of consent. People get that because they're talking about, I said, well, would you keep drinking the milk? Because I like it. I'm getting pleasure from it. Okay. So if you think that it's okay to do something that harms someone else because you get pleasure from that, then how is that so different from the scenario that I described? Just because you get sensory pleasure from someone's body does not give you the right to do that to them. It's like this entitlement shit. Fucking entitlement shit.
It's based off morality.
Okay, so just to be
Yes,
clear,
it is.
just to be clear, before it became law that you go to prison if you murder someone,
Neil.
it wasn't actually wrong to murder someone in your view. So the second they made it law, you were like, oh, that's actually morally wrong, or was it wrong before then?
It's not that. It's that legality is based off morality. So
Yeah, I'm not
since
asking
it's
if
not
it's
moral to
based.
kill a person.
Yeah, I'm not asking if it's based off it. I'm asking you, can you
Oh my
acknowledge?
God.
Can you acknowledge that something can be wrong while
Yeah,
not
dude, you're not tracking it. Yeah, he's saying, oh my God, you're here for this. And it just doesn't track in your feeble little brain. So we still got a while to go with this guy. Maybe it's time to go read a book, maybe read Too Many Trolls. And if that's too difficult for you, maybe you could read Dr. Seuss or something like that. This was a challenging one. This is sort of an advanced kind of book. But you could start with Dr. Seuss, maybe work your way up, and then come back once you have informed yourself of the topic and you're able to think critically, then come back. But until then, maybe step aside and make room for whoever's next.
actually being something that's implemented in law as illegal?
What's up, John? Nice to see you.
I'm saying, me personally, I don't care. So you could, for me, if you want to, go ahead, kill it. I mean,
Hold on, real quick. Vegan
Go
guys,
kill a stray.
maybe give them an example, because remember we're in English Hub, so maybe there's some kind of English barrier
No,
somewhere.
I'm sorry. No, this isn't an English barrier thing.
Maybe if you give them an example, it will be a little bit easier to understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because obviously I don't know laws everywhere, but say, for example, FGM. If there's no law against FGM and people deploy it and it's like religiously justified to do. Do you think it's morally justified to do because it's not illegal?
He's gonna avoid this by saying, well, it's not my culture. So you'd have to ask someone in that culture. That's what he's gonna do.
Can you repeat that again, the last part?
Yeah, say for example, if FGM were not illegal, would you think it's morally justified to do?
What is FGM? I don't know every.
Sorry, female genital mutilation.
Oh yeah, it's just not part of my vocabulary every day.
That's fine.
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, if it's not illegal, do you think it's then justified? It's not wrong.
He's gonna avoid. He's gonna avoid it.
Well, if I would live in a society that
there he goes
deems that not legal, then I would find that fucked up, you know. So
no, I'm asking if
yes,
it's
for me. It's
oh, okay. It's what,
for me
sorry?
that's wrong.
That's wrong.
For you, that's wrong. But he's still dodging it. He's still dodging it because he's saying, well, but if I lived in that culture, then I'd think it's right.
Even if it wasn't illegal. Okay, so when you mentioned, okay, so now we can just dismiss the bit before.
Yeah, okay, because the thing is, I see this like recurrent pattern. It's like, I mean, I can read the comments now as saying like, oh, I'm wasting the time and whatnot.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I think the whole point of this is having conversations with people that aren't vegan to discuss about the thing.
Yeah, and I'm talking to you.
But I don't. If you,
yeah, it is, and you're avoiding all the questions. So it's like, how patient do we have to be for someone who just can't think? It may be the case, you know, that these are the kinds of people who will be the last to go. And then maybe the people who can think, you know, can lead the way. This guy's not a leader. He's a follower.
If you guys feel like I'm wasting your time.
No, you're talking to me, okay? So just, I'm not saying you're wasting my time, okay? So you're talking to me right now. But I can see why someone might see it as time wasting. If someone says, well, you know, the thing is, this isn't illegal, therefore it can't be bad. But then I go through this whole thing where I'm asking them, okay, well, here's an example of something that isn't illegal, but you still would find it wrong. So when you say, okay, I think that's fine because it's not illegal, you have kind of wasted some time there because that's not actually really what you believe then, right?
But that's because you said, what if this wasn't illegal? Would this be wrong? Like, it is illegal because it is wrong.
I don't know.
That is why it is illegal.
Yeah, no. Well, no, because
okay. So then why is FGM legal in some places and not legal in other places? If it's wrong, surely it'd be illegal everywhere, right? Dumbass. You're dumb. You're dumb. And yes, you are wasting our time. Elle has the patience of a saint. She does. She does.
If it is let's see what you're saying. If it is the case that it could be wrong for you, even if it weren't illegal, then you're showing how something can be wrong while being legal.
I'm not saying things can't be wrong while being legal.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, then shut the fuck up saying that then. That's what you were saying, wasn't it? That's actually exactly what you said. So shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Too many trolls. Baby's trying to sleep.
Then we can dismiss all of that and we can go back to the question, right? So we were talking about the fact that you wouldn't farm a human. You wouldn't think it's rather justified to farm a human, never mind whether or not you do it, because you talked about the legality of it. Now we can dismiss that. We understand that even if something, you know, it hasn't got a legal status, that doesn't tell you.
Not completely dismiss it. I don't think we could completely dismiss it. I mean, of course, not every law is good, or not everything that's not law should be good. But most of it is, and that's why we have a society that's working society. Like, or else people would.
It's wait. So in his view, the society is working. Okay. For you, the privileged fuck. Yeah. Works for you. It's not working for them, is it?
We'd just be robbing stores outside every single day and killing people in the street.
Instead, we're just killing animals by the trillions. And it's legal. Oh, it's legal.
Yeah, so just
without
to be,
any consequences.
Just to be clear, if like dog meat is legal, you would think it's morally justified. You're like a moral relativist, is that?
No, he's a
Well,
idiot.
if it was if it was accepted by society and everybody thought since conception, since birth, you were like your head or your brain was trained to be like, okay, well,
he can't do it. He can't think. Okay, he can't. Brain dead. It's just brain dead. This isn't a question of a language barrier like it sometimes is. This is brain dead. Brain rot. Brain worms. It's the worms, okay? It's the worms, and we have to just accept that a lot of people in our society have half their brains eaten away by worms. We just have to accept it and move on. And move on to the people who have intact brains.
Eating dog is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think nobody will see that as a problem. But since that's not the case,
yeah, I'm not asking if
at least for me.
Yeah, I'm not asking about social norms of people and how they comply with these things. I'm asking, just to be clear, for you, if it were legal to eat dogs for meat, and someone
look who it is, guys. Vegan Gaze is here. Did I not just say earlier in my stream that while my channel is small, it could rival anybody's for having the best of the best, the cream of the crop in the chat. Now we got Vegan Gaze. Whoa. L, your patience. Yeah, your patience. Man, this guy. Does it get better, L? Because what I'm determining from this guy is that it just doesn't track. He cannot think. Much to your valiant efforts, despite, I should say, your valiant efforts at helping him to think critically. Oh, it's not.
Did it where it is legal, you would say, no, they've not done anything wrong. Is that correct?
If it was legal since I was born, and if it was something that was considered normal, yes, I would.
Yeah, no, so you're looking outside. Say, for example, there's a country and they fully legalize eating dogs, or they fully legalize eating humans. Would you think it's justified to do that?
Really?
Morally?
You mean like if something like just came up, like a new...
Okay. I sold him short, maybe. Maybe he can think. L says this one gets better.
New law.
Yeah, new
something
law
like that. That's what you're saying?
Tomorrow it's like, okay, well, in this country, sending humans to the farms, sending dogs to farms for sandwich fillers, all absolutely legal. You can do it if you want. Would you look at them and go, well, I might feel uncomfortable, but I don't think they're doing anything wrong?
I mean, for me, it would be wrong, yeah, personally.
Okay, so when we're talking about appealing to culture...
Let's address the elephant in the room, L. My Vegan Gaze mug is in a different room. That's not the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that there's no Vegan Gaze mug on the desk right now. So I feel like very inadequate right now. I know. I'm sorry. I am sorry. There's really no excuse for it, no justification. I will tell you this though, L. That is my most drink out of mug. I love that mug. And that's actually why it's not in the room right now, because it gets dirtied so often because I use it so often. So it's in the dishwasher, I believe.
Appealing to legality and everything like that. Even if something is legal, even if something is culturally acceptable, you would still say, okay, well, I have a preference against that. So this is why we need to stop talking about these things, because they aren't, you're trying to, we're together, right? We're trying to tell each other our preferences. I'm trying to find out what your actual preferences are. You keep telling me these things, and then you're saying, oh, no, actually, even if that were the case, I wouldn't then agree with it. So there must be something else that is saying to you, oh, no, that's wrong.
I haven't seen you stream in a while, Elle. It will be awesome to see you streaming tomorrow. Thing that I found most strange about Zoe's single felony charge is that it's a felony to commit a conspiracy, but it's not necessary to identify any of the conspirators. How is that legit? Yeah. Also, that it's a conspiracy, it's a felony conspiracy to commit misdemeanors. Go figure. Go figure. I keep checking my phone. I'm on it, Tamara. Don't you worry. If it happens, while I'm streaming, which I'm going to go through the end of this, we will find out.
Could I give an example of why I think killing an animal for sandwich fillers is bad?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm valuing sentience, right? I'm saying, look, they are having a...
Okay, guys. Remember how I talked about we are getting wins left and right in the movement at a dizzying pace? I have news for you guys. You guys ready for the good news? You want to hear some good news? And it's not about Zoe. We don't have the Zoe verdict yet. Here's the good news. I've got an update from Poland, all right? In Poland, they have just voted to ban fur farming. According to a text I received, there is out of 92 senators, 69 voted in favor, 15 against, and 8 abstained. So that means that they're going to vote on some amendments, and then it goes to the president, who apparently, according to everyone that's in the know, has told me that the president has already said they will sign that into law. Poland is the second largest fur producer in the EU. That is major, guys. Major news. We just can't stop winning. We can't stop winning.
Subjective experience, just like I am. It might not be the same. Well, it probably isn't the same, right? This is my own experience. You have your own experience. And these other animals are as well. And therefore, there's no morally significant difference there between me and them that would justify slitting their throat and it not being a terrible experience for them as it would for me. And it doesn't matter if tomorrow it became illegal to farm the human, the dog, the rat, the rabbit. I would say, well, they're sentient, so I can't farm them and find that justified. So that's why it's so simple.
I know. I'm sorry the way I teased that. I made it sound like Zoe got acquitted. Sorry, and that was kind of cruel.
For you, it doesn't seem to be sentience. You haven't said anything about that. It can't be legality, because even if something is legal, you can have a problem with it. And it can't be culture, because if something's culturally the case, you could still think it's wrong. So I'm trying to find out what it is that thing within the chicken that's not present in the dog, not present in the human, that you say, okay, well, slit the chicken's throat, but not the others.
Yeah, but then do you think that a lion in Africa is going to think about morality while
We're going to lions now? Oh, my God.
He devours a zebra or something?
Probably not. And they're probably not going to do that when they commit infanticide against a competing mating pair. But I would never, ever kill someone else's children.
They're also highly unlikely, I believe. Can y'all confirm for me whether or not a lion has ever joined a vegan Discord to debate veganism? I can't say definitively, but maybe someone has looked into that. Can I get a fact checker on that, please?
And say, oh, I didn't do anything wrong because lions kill babies. Like, I wouldn't do that. So I don't know why you're doing that right now either.
Hello? Did my screen freeze?
No, I mean, you're saying that sentience has a whole play in it, but it's only one-sided because it's then like only humans care about the sentience, but animals, when they eat each other, it's okay.
It's not. I've not made any claims about it being okay or not, and it's not
I'm
the case
asking.
that.
I'm asking. It's a question.
Well, I think it's a bad thing. I don't like it. It doesn't align with my preferences. But the thing is, I can't really talk to a lion. I don't know about you, but I can talk to you and find out if it actually aligns with your values to slit a chicken's throat. And I'm still trying to work out what it is about a chicken that would justify slitting their throat for a sandwich filler. Have you got some sort of morally significant difference between them and us that would?
True, John. True. Maybe ChatGPT could know.
It's okay if you don't, by the way, because I don't think there is one.
Yeah, not really.
No, that's the problem, and that's what compelled me to go vegan. I was like, oh shit, like I can't justify this, and I can't live a lie. I can't say, look, yeah, I might be a hypocrite because everything that I ever want to say to anyone about anything, if I ever want to go, no, I don't like what you did there, I'm just a walking contradiction if I continue not being vegan. I can't value human rights and go to someone, oh, don't punch that toddler. I can't say that because I'm happy then, if I carry on not being vegan, to send animals in transport trucks to a slaughterhouse to be gassed. That doesn't make sense.
But I have a question. Then, to some extent, should every animal be vegan? Is that what you're implying by saying that we have the decision of not eating animals, but animals should have also the decision of not eating each other? Like,
Well,
would you like every animal to be vegan?
Well,
Is
I
that it?
don't even know how you'd make every animal vegan in the sense that veganism is a philosophy against the exploitation of other animals. So, like, you're asking me to like, oh, are you trying to make all animals Christian? It's like I don't know how I would even communicate that to them. What I'm trying to do is make humans vegan. Now, the thing is, right, we've had this conversation, like, what is, if you don't think it's justified, there's two options. Either you carry on in hypocrisy or you go vegan. Which one do you think you would like to do that would actually express who you are as a person?
I bet we could. And one of my kind viewers gifted me a Sora account, which I've not really dug into. So maybe I could make that AI video. The problem is I kind of reject AI a little bit. I find it concerning. And my fear is if I make that video of a lion debating on Discord, how many people are going to believe it? You know? A lot of people are going to then use that and say, well, the lions, they do. I saw it. I saw that. It was on my TikTok feed, and I saw a lion debating. So, yes, all the lions. We need to start with the lions. Talk to the lions. Before we talk to the people, before you talk to me, talk to the lions. So there's danger in opening that can of brain-eating worms.
So you're basically saying if I'm not a vegan, I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, well, it might be the case. You might be someone who doesn't value anyone. You might not value humans. You might think, fuck them all. You might think that.
Sorry to interrupt, but where did that come from? A can of worms? What the fuck? Where did that? Someone get on that. Find out how that came about. Can of worms. Did I make that up? out of thin air. That's a thing, right?
But it doesn't value.
I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, if
basically.
well, it might be the case. You might be someone who doesn't value anyone. You might not value humans. You might think, fuck them all. You might think that. But if you are someone who does value humans, you do value their experience external to your own. You care about their rights. You care about their autonomy. If you care about those things in the human context, and you can't give a morally relevant trait between them and us, then yeah, you are a hypocrite if you carry on engaging in behaviors that exploit these non-human animals. 100%.
Leave them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
And like, obviously,
I love that whole idea of letting them just stew in it when they're struggling. Debug Your Brain had this great video. I loved it. He was talking to somebody on the street, asking them a tough question, and then there were like 60 seconds of silence, and he wrote on the screen, here's where, normally I would cut in, in a normal conversation, but I've learned to not rescue them from these moments. Like, let them have that moment where they're just searching. That was a good job.
you can come away and go, look.
That was a long silence. It's uncomfortable.
100%.
It's harder
Carry on engaging.
I realize it's harder on the internet because you're wondering, are they still there? They dip out? Their screen freeze? They lost their mic? What's going on?
Is that exploit these non-human animals. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
14
and
seconds.
like obviously you can come away and go, look, yeah, I am a hypocrite, but do remember that if you do that, the consequence to these animals is just so horrific, and it is not something that you can look at and go,
honestly, I really sold this guy for a complete moron. I don't know if I retract it, but I do think that this did become more productive. I do think he's thinking. So I guess it remains to be seen whether I retract that comment or not.
Oh yeah, that's justified. You can't. It's so horrific. We gas animals to death. We slit their throat. We confine them. And we say, you are mine in every way whatsoever. We strip them of everything they have. We steal their children from them. And then we have the audacity to put little humane labels and not like organic certified, as if that does anything for them whatsoever, just to make people feel more comfortable about something they're not actually comfortable with. It's like, so yeah, you can walk away and be like, I'm a hypocrite. But the consequence to individuals is so like unfathomable. Like, I don't know why you would.
I guess budget would be one of the reasons, because I feel like being vegan is kind of a privilege.
So obviously it's a privilege if you can go to a supermarket, but it isn't one that's like only accessible to plant-based dieters. I went vegan as a student. I had sometimes £5 for the week. And there are reports that state that it can indeed actually be cheaper. There's a Lancet report. If you are someone who is low income, you know already that you work within your budget. Sometimes you have to say no to the filet mignon or like the fancy cut of flesh. Just in the vegan context, sometimes you have to say no to the luxury, vegan ham or something. I treat myself when it's on offer. That's what I do with the money that I have. Your staples, rice, beans, like these are very cheap foods. And again, what would be, even if it were the case, say it were like £2 cheaper, more expensive a week, wouldn't you prefer to do that knowing that you're not condemning like other sentient beings to such?
I've asked this to people before. It's like, let's say there's a vegan item that costs $1 more. Okay, well, let's say I have a chicken right here in front of you and a knife. and I say, if you give me $1, I won't murder this chicken right in front of you. I think a lot of people would probably just give me that dollar. Well, that's the same thing when you're buying that vegan product, right? But as Elt's pointing out, you don't need that vegan product anyway. You can just work within your budget. It's like, yeah, we have to teach people how to be adults. I'm realizing. And a lot of people that say that, oh, vegan food's so expensive, I think all they're doing is really outing themselves as not doing their own grocery shopping. Because if they did grocery shop for themselves, they would see that the meat is expensive and the beans, the rice, the lentils, the oats are cheap. Yeah, but I think a lot of these people, like their partner or their parents or whoever it is, buy their groceries for them. Yep.
Horrific atrocities, I'd happily pay an extra quid for a cake if it meant that like baby chicks didn't get ground up alive.
Take care, Elle.
Happily.
Thanks for being here. Very cool to see you here. Looking forward to your stream tomorrow if you do one. And I'll just go ahead and put the link to your video just so that people will go sub. So do that. Go sub to Vegan Gays. She is kind of the best.
Or I just wouldn't have the cake.
Yep. More silence. Boy, this guy's strong.
Yeah, I guess
I swear this guy read too many trolls, didn't he? What do we get in this book? Sure, you can come in, Hannah said, but be very quiet. Baby is sleeping, whispered Uncle Hans. Shh. Shut the fuck up. Baby's sleeping. This guy read the book. He knows. He's very quiet a lot of the time.
Ready to give up, like, I guess, meat as a whole.
Humanity
Because
might
of-
not be ready though, but are you?
Yeah.
When you say humanity,
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
yeah.
not.
So let's people say, and you might not be doing this, but a lot of people say it, and they're kind of hiding behind humanity.
Yeah.
So obviously,
He's
there's
doing that.
something happening here, and I don't expect you to just fully agree now, but a conversation doesn't end when we stop speaking, right? I hope you do think about this, and yes, it does tell someone else everything about you, with what you decide to act like, how you decide to
Character
behave.
test. Yup.
And if you're telling me, yes, I am someone who acknowledges these
Big time character test. That's why it's interesting if you like start dating someone who eats animals. They haven't been confronted with this stuff before, haven't seen the stuff. So that's a pass. But then it's what do they do when they're with you, an animal rights activist, presumably, who gives them this information. Big time character test.
atrocities occurring. I cannot justify them, but I'm going to pay for them anyway. What am I supposed to take from that for you as a person? And then do you have any right to complain about anyone else when they inconvenience you or do something you view to be wrong, and you sit there and you're confused about why they've done it, and you go, how could they have done that? That's how you know exactly how they've done it, because they've done exactly what people do when they deny the obligation to go vegan. 100%.
That was well said.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like life is not everything in life is not just like rainbows and sunshine. You know, I feel like there's stuff that is ugly about how we humans deal and stuff, like how it is an industry and how the process is done from start to finish, of course. But hey, I mean, can't expect everyone to go vegan from, just, I don't know, man. I don't feel like I will, and I don't feel like people will. I don't think
What a weak ass response. Fucking just weak shit. Just punk ass bitch shit.
It's interesting when people say, oh, the world's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's always followed with trying to make it feel better that we're doing something bad. No, the world is filled with horrific atrocities, suffering, cancer, disease, crime. But that doesn't mean for a second that you don't have to behave according to values that you claim to possess, where you care about the autonomy of other individuals. You will not make the world vegan by going vegan yourself, but at least you will not be a hypocrite, and at least you could hold your head up high and say, at least I'm not the one doing it.
True, John.
And I oppose it, and I want the world to look a different way, and I'm actually engaging in the world.
Which means there is hope. There is hope. Verdict is in. Oh my God. Are you serious, Tamara? I was just about to say no verdict. I don't see anything on my phone. Okay. All right. Let's see if Unchained is going. Verdict is in. Oh, man. Live in 3 minutes. All right. Let's find out live. I feel nervous now. I feel nervous for Zoe. Let me go ahead and let me link to this. I hate taking views away from somebody that's live. It's a little, but we can be together or something and watch it. So anyway, please give Unchained your view as well. Maybe we'll just keep going though, because I feel like I want to have it on my channel as well. The news. God, that was quick, which can either mean that means probably no hung jury. That means everybody's in unanimous agreement on all counts. That was pretty fast. That could be a really good thing. Could be a great sign. Could be a terrible sign. Are you kidding me? No way. No way. No way did she do that. No way. Jane, that's immoral. That's immoral clickbait, Jane. Are you for real, Tamara? No verdict yet? Huh. Nah, she must have intel that she wouldn't put that, would she? I feel like Tamara's our source of information right now. Let's find out. Let's find out. All right, we have a minute. Did y'all sub to Vegan Gaze? Well, if you did your job. Good job. But now your job is to sub to Unchained TV. So that's your job now. Is it for real, Tamara? For real? That's what she titled it in? Well, she got us to click. She did good. She did good with that. Anyway, let's get the first few minutes of Jane, and then I'll end my stream, which I was going to do pretty soon anyway. So let's see. Jane, honestly. I feel the verdict must be in if she called it that. Nerds like us, you press the button. Did you hit like and subscribe? Did you do that on my channel too, Nerds Like Us? Because I too need the subs badly. I'm trying to grow this channel, you know what I mean? It's taken a while. It's slow going trying to grow a YouTube channel, guys. When you got this face, when this is your face, guys, look at me. Look at this. Look at me. It's hard, okay? That's my face. That's what people have to look at. You think you're going to hit sub on this channel?
Trial. The
Here we
verdict
go. I'll shut
is in. And we have been waiting for this for
verdict is
7
in.
weeks. Well, actually, since it happened in 2023, a very, very long time. Yes, everybody repost this stream. The verdict is in. And we're
My
just
goodness.
sitting back waiting for what is
Man.
going to happen in court. You know, this is history. I got to tell you, people, I'm just typing as we speak. You're going to hear it as it happens. They started deliberating at 10 o'clock this morning, and I honestly did not expect a verdict this quickly. As a matter of fact,
I didn't
and
either,
I'm adding
to be honest.
people into the stage as they come on.
Guys,
I was just in the process of redoing
just
a
remember-
plane ticket, thinking I may not be able to go out
just remember,
from LA
as I
until,
said
like,
earlier,
Saturday.
regardless of the outcome, Zoe already won.
As
She
people
represented
enter
the animals
stage
so
and we
well.
get our team coverage going.
So regardless,
What this is all
she's
about
acquitted,
and what it's
convicted.
all about is
Yeah.
this woman in 2023, after repeatedly warning law enforcement that she had evidence of what she called criminal animal cruelty happening at a factory farm and slaughterhouse, one of the largest producers of poultry, as people who eat them put it, in the world. She had evidence of criminal animal cruelty. She said law enforcement ignored her repeatedly, and so she went in and rescued them herself. 4 chickens. She is facing 5 years in prison, jail, behind bars. This is happening in Northern California. We have a reporter inside the courtroom right now hearing the verdict, and she's going to come running out the second that the verdict is revealed. We understand it's a jury of 7 men and 5 women. And remember, this is a heavily agricultural state. So, yes, somebody said, so nervous. Me too.
Yeah.
We were all nervous.
I feel like this is a positive sign. That's just me. I hope I'm not setting us up for disappointment.
Over 4 chickens that you just saw being taken has gone on for 7 weeks.
It's just hard for me to imagine that there wouldn't be at least one person on that jury that's like, it's kind of fucked up what we
on
do.
pins and needles. It very much the fate of Zoe Rosenberg, a 23-year-old who has a condition she was born with, a diabetes condition. Her health is on the line. Her future's on the line. She's a brand new graduate from Berkeley University. Not only that, the whole industry of animal rescue, the right to rescue, is also at stake here. So a lot at stake with honestly, really, I'm thinking about Zoe right now. That is what I'm thinking about. I'm a mother. I have a 24-year-old, 26-year-old. So as a mother person, I'm feeling for her and really praying that that the jury are able to see that this is an act of compassion, that she tried her best to get the message out there about the conditions of animals prior to her going and rescuing these animals. She was doing the right thing. That was her. She planned ahead by giving the information, but nobody
By the way,
was listening. Nobody was taking it seriously, that the convictions are really about
If I find
these
out, by
animals
the way,
not being
I'm not
cared
going to
for.
say.
And that is
I'm going to
what
let
I feel
Jane,
is at stake
since
here,
they've done
and
the
that people
coverage, break the
deserve
news.
the
I don't
right
know.
to rescue. We deserve
I'm not
the
going to.
right to get this
I'm not gonna
information out to
speak
as many people, and people have the right to know that their animals that they're purchasing are not what they think they are. Humane, taking care of all the ticking off the boxes of paying this expensive meat money. And as you can see here in the videos, Zoe felt it was the right thing to do out of an act of compassion. Jane, back to you.
Absolutely. And there you see her doing the thing for which she is being charged and could spend 5 years behind bars, taking these 4 chickens whom she named Poppy, Ivy, Aster, and Azalea. They are living their best lives at an undisclosed location in the midst of all this drama. If you are joining us, the verdict is in, everybody. All the direct action everywhere people rush from a Pete's Coffee House where they were waiting. I got a call. They ran to the courthouse about 10 minutes away. They are all inside the courtroom.
I told you about the Pete's Coffee House, right? They're all in there eating those sandwiches.
We are going to bring it to you at the second that she comes out. Our reporter at the scene and tells us we're going to bring it to you.
Bringing up that Pete's Coffee House.
Let me say this: if she's acquitted, she's going to come out, Zoe Rosenberg, and give a statement. If she is not acquitted, if she is found guilty, she could be remanded behind bars immediately. And this is what happened to Wayne Shung when he was found guilty. They remanded him. Then there was sentencing. We talked to him yesterday. He did more than 30 days behind bars. And it was a similar case, conspiracy. Let me just tell you that this is what the conspiracy charge looks like. That's why I was a little surprised that they came back so quickly. They just started at 10 o'clock today. They took an hour for lunch, and they came back and reached a decision. Now, I don't know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign. So let me go straight out to our attorney that we're so lucky and happy to have. Do you think it's a good sign or a bad sign?
Thanks, Jane. It's really hard to say as far as how long the jury deliberated, but look forward to hearing their verdict. And I do want to point out the defense in their closing arguments really focused on counts 1 and 2, the felony conspiracy charge and the trespass charge.
I'm with you. I feel like it is a good sign.
Specific intent defense in terms of that
But I don't want to jinx it, I don't want to jinx it.
To commit the felony conspiracy and the trespass count 2 charge because she believed in the lawfulness of her acts. They really honed in on the why and that compassion isn't a crime.
Wow. I'm pretty surprised considering how long.
The business, she went in to rescue the chickens from suffering.
Yeah, and let me say, okay, people are calling me saying, oh, the verdict is in. Guess what? I know the verdict is in. I got that. Let me go to the man who has been the juror more times than anyone on our panel, Michael Fujimori. What do you think? Do you think it's a good sign or a bad sign that the jury came back so quickly? They started deliberating at 10 o'clock this morning. They went from 10 to 12. They took a lunch break. Then they came back and boom, they've got a verdict.
Jane, I think it's a really good sign. I'm cautiously optimistic, though. I don't, but I think that's a good sign that it came back so quickly for Zoe.
Why?
Because I thought there was going to be a guilty verdict. There would be a lot more deliberation. They would spend a lot more time because they know this poor woman's life is at stake, her freedom. So that's why I think that if it was a guilty verdict, they would have spent more time, maybe several days, debating whether or not they should go ahead and go for a guilty charge.
If you're just joining us, we just got a word that the verdict is in the Zoe Rosenberg chicken rescue trial. For us,
I'll get it from Jane.
We have been invested in this we've been covering this every day for 26 days now, recording like 26 hours at least of footage. I want to play just a little bit of Zoe talking about her illness back when the case was still being heard before the jury got it, because this is a potential life sentence for her if she's found guilty. She has a lifelong case of diabetes, not from diet, but type 1 that she essentially was born with. And she has a lot of medical equipment. And she said publicly that the jail said, we can't handle all your medical equipment. So she said that she feels like this is a potential life or death situation for her.
I'm just setting up my tube feeds for the day. I'm expecting that the prosecution will pretty much spend the entire court session continuing to cross me. I think they'll keep me on the stand pretty much as long as they can. I'm just gonna get this set up in my backpack and then head to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription that hopefully is ready. I'm having a bad gastroparesis and autonomic neuropathy flare up, in part because of a high blood sugar, but also in part because I was having a really hard time getting a hold of a medication that I'm on, and I was off of it for almost a week, and I only just got it again this evening.
We are so excited to have with us Alexandra Paul. Nobody knows what this is like, how nerve-wracking it is, more than Alexandra Paul, because she was also prosecuted in Northern California in a different county. I believe it was Merced. Correct me if I'm wrong. And what was it like, that wait for the verdict, and then when you found out the verdict is in?
Well, truthfully, and I think that Zoe feels kind of the same way as I, is that we, whether or not we were guilty, what had been accomplished was so big to have the case go to trial at all and expose what was going on in my case, Foster Farms, and in her case, Petaluma Poultry. So, of course, it's nerve-wracking. You want to win, quote unquote, but she's already won because she's gotten such amazing coverage. I'm so proud of her, and she's done such a wonderful job. And I wasn't in the courtroom, but I know my twin sister was in the courtroom yesterday and said that Chris Carraway, her lawyer, did a terrific closing statement.
Here is your video of you doing your open rescue. You were acquitted, but correct me if I'm wrong, you were charged with theft, which I believe allows you to go in a little more in depth into the conditions of the animals. They charged Zoe with conspiracy, which is what they did to Wayne, and that was successful, which was why they did that again. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they're learning from every trial, and especially I think they learned from our trial that because theft includes value, the value of the chicken, then and to the farm, we know there's so little value to the chicken. She or he are invaluable to us, but to the farms they're not. So it brings in that element. Yeah.
Wow. Well, so you're saying you didn't really feel nervous? Like maybe I'm more nervous than Zoe Rosenberg is, because
I'm nervous.
Are you nervous? Yeah. I'm nervous. I'll admit it. And thank you for standing by for a second. Ellen Dent, you are with Animal Alliance Network. You've been following all of these cases. You've been a panelist on all of these cases. You're also a mother who talked very eloquently in a documentary we did called Countdown to Year Zero about the need to save our planet by transitioning away from animal agriculture. What's the big picture here as we wait to find the verdict?
Well, I am hoping that the deliberation taking so little time means that the jury, was tired of having their time, basically wasted to them with this trial. It sounds like it took a long time for the prosecution to do their final closing thoughts and even their rebuttal to the defense. So, I'm hoping, because of that, and I'm not sure how long that Chris Carraway took, Zoe's defense lawyer.
Okay. You're on the Wi-Fi. If you could get off Wi-Fi, I'm so sorry. Daniel's here working on a video for the safe movement now. So what I want to say is this is a moment in history. This is what I'd like to say. There are moments in history where we look back and we go, wow, that was a moment in history. Things that I can remember, famous things, Gandhi's assault march, Rosa Parks refusing to move her seat. This is one of those moments. And I would like to do a little bit of a round robin. They're in court right now in Sonoma County in Santa Rosa. They're hearing the verdict right now. Our reporter is going to run out in a second. But let's take a moment to acknowledge that this is a moment in history. Can we go to you, Lindsay?
Whatever happens is going to have a significant effect on the way people look at animal agriculture and eating chickens. I think this is bringing a lot of attention. Just today, from the links we got today, she was covered in the San Francisco Chronicle, AP Press, the Democrat, and also
Press Democrat.
KQED. I mean, those are all major news outlets. And before, like Wayne put it so eloquently yesterday, the first time a case like this came out, everyone was laughing. The lawyers were laughing at him, saying, "You'll never get this. You'll never get this to trial." And look where we are now. And also, the other point we want to keep in mind is what Wayne said just before it gets the
Nerds
most
like us.
intense. It gets the hardest right before things start to shift. And I
This
think
has been a
this is
very
momentous
momentous
because
month,
this is
has it
part of
not?
the big
Nerds like
shift.
us.
I agree with you 100%. We talked to Wayne Shung yesterday.
We've had so many wins
Of Direct Action Everywhere, the organization that
in the
Zoe
animal
is
rights
a
movement in the
member
last
of.
month. Let's hope
And
this is
he
the
got some
cherry on
incredible
top.
news regarding another case of his. There he is getting arrested, and he was prosecuted in the same county and would probably be in the same, was in the same jail that Zoe would be going to. In fact, there's so much of a connection that Zoe was arrested after the same day, within minutes of Wayne Shung being remanded to jail. So, you know, the powers that be are out to shut this movement down. Let's face it, it's pretty obvious. And this is what Zoe had to say. Prosecutors will try to tell the story of a radical criminal who steals animals from hardworking businesses. We will tell the stories of 4 little chickens who faced unimaginable pain. Their names are Poppy, Ivy, Aster, and Azalea. And I can tell you right now, these are the 4 chickens, Poppy, Ivy, Aster, and Azalea, living at an undisclosed location, living out their best lives. And if you're just joining us, any second now, the verdict is in. Any second now, our reporter is going to come running out of the courthouse to tell us what happened. She is charged with, and I'll just put this banner down for a second so we can see the charges. She's facing 5 years, 1 count, felony conspiracy, plus 3 misdemeanors, 2 trespass, and 1 vehicle tampering. And we also have the actual charges here, which one of the reasons I was shocked that the verdict came in so quickly. Look at this first charge. This is the conspiracy charge. And there's so many elements to it. And let me tell you this, a lot of the things that they're saying she did on the lower level, if you can read it, you know, directly defended, directly or through others, entered and through outside business hours,
I can't
and
leave
allowed
right now.
other people in and did this, that, and the other. Well, there was somebody who testified, no, Zoe didn't do all those things. I
can't run to the bathroom right now.
She
Come on, let's
told the
get that
jurors
verdict.
She is testifying because she wants to share the truth about what really happened.
Urgent.
She started to walk the jurors through her investigation, and we showed the jury footage of the slaughter line of birds flailing, and we showed them the photos of the bright cherry red birds who we believe had been scalded alive. She talked about how she personally rescued 2 birds on the morning of June 13th, and then she started to be cross-examined by the prosecutor, and then I will likely begin my testimony.
All right. So this is really extraordinary because you have somebody else, Raven Deerbrook, who is actually a famous undercover investigator who went into a pig slaughterhouse here in Los Angeles and surreptitiously filmed the gas chambers that kill the pigs. They had been saying that the pigs just go to sleep, and the footage she showed was these pigs screaming their heads off as they were choked off of air. So this woman, and she almost didn't get out of that pig slaughterhouse, Raven Deerbrook. I interviewed her shortly afterwards. She said she was seconds away from being trapped in there and dying herself. These people, you know, honestly, I would like to have a tenth of their courage. But she basically went into court and said, don't convict her of conspiracy. I'm the one who went in there. I'm the one who took the video. I'm the one who put the cameras in. I'm the one who did this. And Zoe basically said, no, agreed with her and said, yeah, basically what I did is I just went in there and rescued some chickens. So you're laughing. Alexandra, what are your thoughts on that?
That's what she did. And what I think a lot of the people who read the articles about this case are going to think, like, why are they doing this to this young woman? 4 chickens. Why is this huge company? And I think they're going to say to themselves, because they want to hide what they're doing, because they don't want these animal activists in there. So I was pleased to see that the articles, although they were definitely not written by people who are like us, they did seem to have a lot of empathy and tried to have some balance, tried to show our side of the story.
Yeah, and I want everybody just to remember, somebody's saying this is a historic moment. It is. Remember where you were, because first they ignore us, then they laugh at us, then they get angry at us, and then they join us. This is the get angry at us part.
Right.
So you're seeing exactly what Zoe is charged with doing, taking these chickens, rescuing them. And, we invite the company on anytime. I have said that every single time, and I repeat that action and that invitation today. And I do want to show what they say. They say that they have, the company in question, Purdue Farms, the highest animal welfare standards. They have an entire
I want that on or off.
website, that corporate.purduefarms.com. You can go to the subheader there, responsibility.
You'll have an opinion. You'll want that on or off.
Animal care. And they say they have an incredible record. Everything they do is lawful. They also say here, no cages or crates. And we want to get some reaction while we're waiting. Others have pointed out, wait a second, hold on. What is Zoe removing here? Looks to be a crate, Alexandra.
Yes, and my understanding is that transportation seems to have its own bucket when it comes to animal cruelty, and livestock's just really not covered. Beyond you have to feed them or give them water every 28 hours if they're traveling. My understanding is there's nothing that covers animals when they're transporting them. So I think that's why Purdue thinks, we can say we don't.
You're just in time, Nilf.
They apparently
the big
said
news is in
throughout the trial that they were nice to their animals also. And this right here shows you they're not nice to their animals. That's not nice what they're doing. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, the key is that there's a different standard for farmed animals, obviously. And that's one of the issues that this trial
verdict is in, Nilf. We're just waiting for someone to run out of the courtroom and let them know what it is.
Reasonable to say that this was supposed to shut down these activist actions.
Correct.
In fact, this glossy flyer was sent out to thousands of people in the county prior to jury selection, saying, stand by Sonoma County's poultry workers. But I have to wonder if it's backfired. And I'll go to Annie Abram on this with the Captain Paul Watson Foundation as we wait for the verdict. Remember, any second now, I'm going to interrupt somebody talking, perhaps myself, and say, let's go out to the courthouse. The verdict is in. And if Zoe is acquitted, she is likely going to come out and speak. So we are waiting on pins and needles. But Annie, what are your thoughts about the historical significance of this trial in terms of now the Associated Press wrote a whole article, which I was just reading when they announced the verdict was in. When the Associated Press writes an article, that means local papers all over, local publications all over the world pick it up. That's a huge breakthrough.
And I'm so impressed, so proud of Zoe, of Alexandra, of Wayne, of everyone who's been doing this.
It's like a whole process. So I don't know at what point they came in and said the verdict is in. I'm sure there was word, we've got a verdict. They rushed that information to Jane. And then everybody had to go to the courthouse. And then it's a whole process. You got to wait for the courtroom to open, to go in there, sit down, wait for the jury to come in, and then the thing gets read. I don't know at what stage of that process we're in right now, but I have a sense that they are all in there. It sounds like.
Let me just say this.
Sounds like they're in
be
there,
thanking people
and so we're
for
just
doing their
waiting for someone
jobs.
to come
The
out.
truth is that I've often said, why
But
is it that
you can bet that once the verdict is read, someone's going to run out of the room and let people know instantly.
or get
So
arrested?
it's going to be fast.
All right. Did your animal activism,
But
Alexandra,
yeah, I
get any
mean,
mainstream news
this could be seconds away. It could be 30 minutes away.
No, and that's one of the
But
reasons we get arrested.
it's going to happen
because we want to
in the next
only
little
way
bit.
for us to push forward for animals. Not the only way. I'm sorry, it's not the only way. There's many ways, but it's a very important way. And I believe in the if jail, no bail. In other words, if we do go to jail, we should stay there and push to try and go to court. That is my firm belief, and I know DXE has changed its policy of bailing out people who do get arrested because we feel like it's so important to go to
nerds
court.
like
This
us.
is what Zoe's doing.
Verdict is in, but not yet.
Forward.
Just wait. It's in.
Laws, but this is the beginning. We're setting the precedent. Unfortunately, we haven't changed the laws for animals yet, but we will, and the necessity defense will come in at some point.
You can't really
when
tell.
you were
Is it
acquitted,
innie or
were you
outie?
shocked or were you?
You don't know.
I mean, what was your reaction?
I did cry. I'm a crier. And I was happy, but I really felt,
better
I mean, and
like
I
that
still
stream
feel
there,
that
Nils.
what happens to us is not as important. Like the verdict is not as important.
And by the way, guys, like I'm streaming because I started a stream that said verdict possibly imminent. It's a little awkward because they're doing their stream. So make sure that they get the views too. Please go to Unchained TV and put them on as well so they get the views and give them the likes and the subs because they're the ones doing the work. But I thought we could watch it together. We might as well. But that's why I have now pinned the comment,
A win is fine,
which is the link to their live stream.
Look good, but for really fundamental change for animals, we need to change the laws for animals and not just whether people did something legal or illegal.
Very good point. Yes. And of course, one of the things that they would be appealing on if she's convicted, we don't know. This is nerve wracking. I want to just write a big post that says nerve wracking. What did this jury of 7 men and 5 women decide? And it's happening right now. Now, remember, we got the call. Oh, gosh. Well, it was about 2:18. And so they had 10 minutes. So let's say 2:20, 2:30. It's now 2:58. I assure you that unless something extraordinary has happened, the verdict has been issued. And, I'm also going to check X because there's a Purdue feed here that has been run by the Direct Action Everywhere group. So we have a verdict is the last thing it's saying. It's not saying what the verdict is. We're all headed to the courtroom, it says. So yes, I think everybody who's watching is nervous. I'm nervous. So Paige, where are we? Yesterday, Wayne Shung, after achieving a great victory, essentially getting one of the country's largest
This reminds me of what was it, Airplane, where they were like, they kept making that joke. It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking. I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
And
it was a running joke. I don't drink anymore. I feel like I could use a drink right now.
Very optimistic. Sometimes I get a little, sometimes
all I got is this.
Pessimistic and
well, I know that many of us follow a lot of these feeds that are reporting the positive news. So I am very grateful for this. We are talking about thousands of Beagles, beautiful dogs that they're the most docile, sweet,
pick the wrong
smart
week.
Dogs.
Pick the wrong 2 years to not drink.
Put into a situation where they were being tested on over and over and over again in an antiquated system. And now this is one of the largest that is shut down.
Because I picked the wrong decade to stop drinking.
And we're talking about the United States. I don't know.
Oh, it was the wrong week. Wrong decade for sure.
There are several of those. Now, I want to say something about the New York Times, Jane, because I think this is very important. The New York Times had posted a piece about Zoe. A California county embraces humane farming. These animal activists demand more. Here's what I want to say. Customers should demand more as well. But to the point of also what was posted,
That Times story was
Rosenberg's lawyer says that she spent
that New
months
York Times
looking
piece
into
was
the
a
alleged
disgrace.
abuse
We read
and
that on this.
consulted a veterinarian who was
Disgrace.
images
The
that
New York
appear
Times.
to show animals
The
being
Guardian did a
killed
nice one
alive. So
the other
point
day.
is, if that information is out to the public, I think the public would be outraged. I really do. And I think if it was a public vote, I think the public, and now we're talking about, what did you say? 7 men and 5 women? Is that the jury?
Guilty? Oh, hold on.
What?
Well,
Hold
there's
on.
there's several counts.
I don't want to say it. Somebody texted me. Let me go. Hold on. What? Where are you hearing that? Okay, hold on. Let me go on the feed. Thank you. That's Michelle Celestino, our social media director. She says, X says, hold on. Let me get to it.
This may be on counts 3 and 4, the misdemeanors.
What? Okay.
Let's hear what she says, but
verdict
just
is
everyone
in.
should keep in mind that there's 4 counts and guilty may be on the misdemeanors.
Okay.
Which were the trespass and the tampering,
Really?
and the defense didn't put up much defense on that
I
because
have
those
to
were
hang up
general.
on her in order to get to where I'm trying to go. And of course,
Man.
when I try to rush, I end up spending more time. Here we go. Purdue.
Yeah, it's on the X feed.
Yes, I'm trying to get to the XV. Why don't
Okay.
you read what you see?
Okay. Animal rescuer Zoe Rosenberg was just found guilty of felony conspiracy and 3 misdemeanors for her rescue of 4 chickens from Purdue's Petaluma Poultry Slaughterhouse. There's more.
Pathetic.
Okay, guilty. Please just read it again.
Okay.
Okay.
So it says animal rescuer Zoe Rosenberg was just found guilty of felony conspiracy and 3 misdemeanors for her rescue of 4 chickens from Purdue's Petaluma Poultry Slaughterhouse. And these charges carry a potential sentence of nearly 5 years in jail. Meanwhile, Petaluma Poultry faces no consequences for leaving sick animals to die or scalding animals alive. And then it goes on to say that Zoe was represented by Chris Carraway, staff attorney at the Animal Activist Legal Defense Project.
This is just
attorney
pathetic.
Kevin Little. She will appeal her conviction, including several of the court's rulings, such as its refusal to allow her to present a necessity defense and severe restrictions on what animal cruelty evidence the jury was allowed to see. So guilty.
Oh my God. Okay. Reactions. What's
All
your
right.
reaction,
There it is.
Ellen? You just read that news.
Not okay. It's not fair. I mean, I'm trying to fight back tears because, I've been, just hoping for the best for Zoe, especially with her condition, and I really think that,
All
the
right,
jury should
well-
have known how sick she is too. And that they're, picking on
Remember
a
what I
sick young
said
woman,
earlier, though.
like this.
Zoe
I've,
already won.
wore my chicken earrings all
Regardless
day,
of this
just hoping,
outcome,
for the
Zoe
best,
won
result
because
before
she
saying how cute my
represented the
chicken earrings were.
animals
But
in a
still
beautiful
putting
way.
chicken in their carts at the store.
So
But
Zoe
it's just,
is the winner
this
here.
is,
And
not
yes, you're
a
right that
world
this will be
I'm
appealed
okay
now.
with.
And this,
I'm glad that they're going to appeal. I hope there will be case law. I hope that she wins an appeal and there's case law.
yeah. So listen, like this is just going to keep happening until it doesn't, right? Like this is not a time to hang our heads. This is a time to hang our heads high, to hold our heads high, I mean, because Zoe did the absolute right thing. She did not commit a crime. We know that. She didn't do anything wrong but save 4 lives. So this is pathetic. And once again, we have just people missing their calls from history. History is calling on them. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Oh, it's too fucking hard. Too fucking hard. Well, I'm proud of you, Zoe, and I am very sad for what is coming for you. It's pathetic. Let's hope for a very lenient sentence. This is fucking ridiculous. But Zoe, you fucking won.
That needs medications.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you. Let's go to
Thank you.
Alexandra. What are your thoughts, Alexandra?
Yes, this will pave the path for an appeal, which could change the law, since we couldn't change the law in the original trial. I don't think the judge is going to lock her up because of her condition. She would not survive in jail. She needs multiple. I spoke to her a year ago about this, and she admitted that in jail they only allow you to get the insulin once a day, and that does not work for her at all. She would not be able to survive. I don't think the judge will lock her up. I don't know what else he can give her, community service or something. I'm not sure, but this is yeah. And also, you all are right. They didn't let in so much of the information that is so important, but the industry is learning, and that's why those charges were levied against her and not others.
And once again, I mean, if you're just joining us on day 26, during a 7-week trial over these 4 chickens, Zoe Rosenberg found guilty on all counts. She can potentially serve.
So I don't want to speak for Zoe, but I think that what Zoe would want from this outcome is for this to be fuel for people to work that much harder for the animals to ensure that no animal has to suffer this fate. And what else can you say? Zoe is a very brave person, and so I wonder if we're going to get to hear from her. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she would express sentiments similar to that.
Social media director Michelle Celestino, who was monitoring it, she calls, we have a verdict, and then guilty, breaking. This is from DXE, guilty, convicted for saving birds from slaughterhouse. This is our society. This is where we're at right now. And I haven't gotten your reaction, Lindsay. Be interested to hear what you have to say. I'm keeping it on a wide shot in case our reporter pops up, which she should any second. It's probably very difficult back there.
I think
Unmute.
so.
I'm on pins and needles, and I have a pit in my stomach. I'm nauseous. It's one thing to say, like, well, if this doesn't go that way, she's going to go on and fight it and all. And, so bravely, Alexandra said that, the motive is to go to jail to change the laws. But when it comes down to seeing someone that is so pure and so good, as a human, I'm sure every human being has faults, but I'm not naive, but someone that is so pure in their intent, and for the jury to just disregard everything. Yep. And also what Annie said, I believe it was Annie that said, how they hid all this information that was really, really pertinent. So I imagine in the appeal, this will be brought out, I hope. And, I just would like to, try to think the way Zoe and Wayne would think, and they would say, well, we're glad, like Wayne was saying, yes.
Another thing is just like, it's sort of another lesson for me, and I think for all of you too, just about people, because both Jake and I, and the guy that was on the stream, we all thought, and I admit, this is what I thought. I thought this quick verdict was a good sign, because you had to think there's got to be one person on that jury. One person. One. who looked at those chickens and said, you know, maybe they ought not be in those cages. And there wasn't. Not one. Zero. So it's another lesson. When Wayne was convicted, I just like, they could not have done a poorer job, the prosecution. It was embarrassing and pathetic and flailing, and they won. They won. They won, you know, like, and it's up to a jury. It's so it's just another lesson. And yeah, it's a very sad lesson about our society, but it is what it is, I guess. So this is why when we had someone on earlier who was very optimistic, I looked at the guy. So it was like a week ago, and the guy said, I just couldn't see how this jury would convict her. This is someone that was watching the jury, seeing their faces, seeing how they react. This was me during that trial saying, there's fucking no way. There's no way. They're like, and in that one, I felt like it was, I mean, I wasn't in this courtroom, so I couldn't see them, but I appreciated that person's optimism, but I remembered my own optimism back in Wayne's trial. But I mean, the fact that the verdict in Wayne's trial took a long time made it seem to me like, well, then it seems like maybe we're going to get a hung jury or something. And then they convicted on 3 of the 4 counts, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, it's just something to remember.
You have type 1 diabetes, you have to manage it according to how much you've worked, eaten, slept, exercise. It changes all the time. And being in jail doesn't allow for that flexibility. So it can be very dangerous. And her gastroparesis is something where the stomach doesn't empty. And this happens to a very small proportion of diabetics, but it does happen. And it happened to her. Started a couple months ago. She was in the hospital right before, the week before, the days before the trial started. I don't personally think that the jury should have taken into account her illness, but I do think the judge will. Yeah, that's what I would say.
And we've got to find out. I'm calling the reporter, trying to get her on here. You had something to say. Go ahead.
I just wanted to address the health issue that during the sentencing phase that the judge may consider as a factor her
possibly NILF, but that means 5 women said guilty, you know? No, I mean, I've heard of, you know, like some people on juries can feel pressured by the majority. Yeah, that can happen too, but imagine if it was you. Like, imagine the privilege, you know? Imagine the privilege of sitting in that jury box and getting to decide history and to just whiff. Unbelievable, man. There were people who convicted Wayne, who wrote to him, who showed up for his sentencing. Yeah, and it was too late at that point. Your moment had passed. So yeah, it's very disappointing. It's a very disappointing commentary on human beings. It is. Okay. Well, here's how I was going to do this. I think I'm going to end the stream because I was going to hang around. I was going to meet some people. I was going to hang around if we had this big celebration and we would get to see Zoe speak. But I would direct all of you to the Jane Unchained stream, which is linked. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there again. And again, like I said, guys, hold your heads high. Hold your heads high. John, let this be fuel for your activism. Jeffrey, let this be fuel for your activism. Alicia, let this fire you up. Nilf, let this fire you up. That is what Zoe would want us to do, to fight that much harder for the animals. This is, again, we said it in the beginning of the stream. I'll reiterate it again. This is not a loss because Zoe already won by being the best person in that room, along with all her fellow activists. But you know what I mean. Zoe's the winner here. So, again, who we are is not determined by 12 people in a jury box. That is not what defines us. We know right from wrong. It's a shame that 12 randomly selected people carefully whittled down to such a way that it will bias them against Zoe. It's a shame that they couldn't look into the eyes of those chickens and see someone was there. That is a real shame, but that is just more reason for us to fight harder. Yup, guilty, L. Yep, guilty. So the maximum is going to be, I think it was 4.5 years, but we don't know. And I don't think we're going to know for a while. Typically what happens is there is a sentencing set for a later date. Hopefully they don't put Zoe in jail during that time. Let's hope not. But I believe for Wayne, it was like nearly a month later before he was sentenced. I could be wrong. I don't remember, but this is a whole slow process, you know. And I believe that Zoe, if she is sentenced to jail or sentenced to prison, that I believe that that will count as time served in case she does get a prison sentence. So we'll see. I don't think so, Charlie. I don't think this is going to change. I think I think that this is people have calculated that this is going to take time. It's going to take work. And there have been 2 acquittals. Let's remember, at least 2. There have been more, I'm sure. But yeah, again, like 12 jurors are not going to decide the fate of the animal rights movement. And again, they don't determine what's right or wrong or who we are. So anyway, I'll leave y'all with that. Let me pop in the stream one more time. But if y'all are staying online, go visit the Jane stream. I'm going to go take off and be with some buddies. But I will, obviously, we'll be covering this a lot more. We will be covering this a lot more. So there will be a lot to say. But again, just last word. Hold your head high and be proud of Zoe. That's it. Zoe did the right thing. All right. Peace out, y'all. Take care.